Do you know whose frog this is?
Your mom's.
Yeah. You know she's dead. Welcome back to another
Dead Mom Podcast.
That's a good fucking name. Dude, you might be on it. Dead Mom Podcast? Come on, that's good.
That sounds like fucking...
I'm writing it down.
Oh
Dead
my
Mom
God.
Podcast. Oh my god, that's so good.
That sounds like a fucking, like, anti-war, or fucking,
I don't care what it sounds like. It sounds fucking good.
Or a punk band's thing.
It sounds like something I would tune in to watch, which is the only important thing. All right.
Episode 2 of Dead Mom's Podcast. Mom's still dead. Let's go.
I thought you were going to be like, episode 2, Dad's joining the group. Due to legal obligations, we can't change the name.
Think of a name change.
Dead Parents Podcast. Nothing's...
Not associated with Batman.
Unlock my Shuriken gun.
What?
My Shuriken gun.
Shuriken gun?
My Shuriken gun.
Shuriken gun.
Unlock my Shuriken. You know when my mom died, that's like the first joke that I made was like...
You've unlocked your shotgun?
Yeah, but it hasn't come yet.
Well, no, I'm talking to you, not to the podcast itself.
This is a podcast? Dead Mom Podcast. How long have we known each other?
15?
I think 16 years. I knew you when I was 13. 15 years. Yeah.
15, 16.
Yeah, 15, 16 years. Okay. There's an important aspect of how we met, Ray. Not quite the conventional online friends meeting at a weird motel, you know? How did we meet?
Through roleplay.
We met through roleplay.
Oh, I
wow.
fucking goddamn.
Don't look at me. Look there. Look there or there. One of the two. Doesn't matter which one. You have glasses on, so it kind of hides it. All right. So we've known each other for 15 years.
15, 16 years.
15, 16 years. And we've been best friends ever since.
Well,
Wow, dude.
No, hold on.
There was that 4-year period where I was in the army and you didn't fucking talk to me.
And there was that,
and I didn't forget.
And there was that fucking starting period where you were fucking like 5 other people.
You're spoiling it.
Exactly.
No, you're spoiling it. All right.
It's setting up.
So, we're talking about how we met, right? Mm-hmm. And we met through roleplay.
Right.
And just go ahead and spitball what a definition of roleplay is. Go.
Wait, the textbook definition or the fucking definition that's in my head?
The definition that's in your head. Nobody gives a fuck about the textbook definition of people dressing up like teachers and having sex, okay?
What?
That's like roleplay. That's what most people... If you say let's roleplay, people think you mean like, oh, I'm going to be the sexy nurse.
Pretending to be someone else. Or something else.
That's what everybody does every day.
Episode 2.
Existential crisis. Don't know what I'm doing. Spiraling, but regaining.
Midlife crisis coming.
A controlled downward spiral. Definition: what roleplay is from what we know. Okay, don't give the real definition.
Okay, the definition that would pertain to us would be writing as another character.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it would either be an original character or a canon character.
Uh-huh.
Original character obviously being an original character. Everybody knows what OC means.
But explain it to them. Because they might not know.
Then they're on the wrong channel.
You're on the wrong fucking channel. No, explain what an OC is. Because people don't know what an OC is.
An OC character is literally something that you yourself created, or at the very least put your own personal spin on. So basically, if you ever play D&D, or if you play a friggin' video game, you're essentially role-playing as another character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, obviously, canon character means a character that's already been pre-established, usually an official character. So, something out of Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, something that's already been established. The character has already been made.
Right. The history and everything you can reference.
Right.
The way it looks is canon. The way they act is canon, all
Right.
that shit, right?
Just everything's pre-established, and what you're just doing is playing as that character. Obviously, in situations that they wouldn't be in,
For example,
but how
fighting
you
a pony.
but how you would imagine that they would act in that given situation.
Right, so a role play is essentially two people writing just their characters' actions and reactions to each other. Most people associate it with sexual stuff. Which,
As they should.
as they should, because that's what we're here to talk about. Is role play is not sexual enough. No.
Degenerates.
Right. So an OC
Gotcha.
character, you would make the entire background for them. You would make everything, and the only thing you wouldn't have is like an actual official piece of artwork to reference them. So you would use a substitute that you would edit yourself.
A play-by.
Yeah, a play-by. Or you would pay like $80 for some buddy on an art network to
Or
make
you do
your character.
the smart budget man would do and download a free photo editing software and just recolor an image.
Are you taking shots at me right now?
Maybe add some, interesting fonts and text.
Yeah.
If it's a manga scan, you obviously change the fucking speech bubble into something more cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like this is a shot directly at me, but
I did it too.
Yeah, but the thing is, I did it better. Mine were good.
You also had people doing it for you.
No, I didn't. Well, that was only later when I actually lost, because I had that free Photoshop program that I downloaded illegally. Then my computer edit that out. Then my computer bricked, like hard bricked, like my hardware, my mainframe just melted, and I lost everything. Like I lost the book that I wrote and everything that was on the PC, and I was fucking sad about it. And then I lost the free Photoshop too, so I started having other people do it then. That was later. But anyway, the point is, that is the gist of what role play is. And role play, you can find it just about anywhere these days. You can find it in the YouTube lives. I mean this seriously. Pause.
God, yeah.
Go to YouTube live, like what is it? The
Lo-fi beats.
Lo-fi beats. Go to Lo-fi beats or whatever.
Lo-fi.
Whatever. For fuck's sake, dude. Go to one of those, preferably one that has like 300 to 400 viewers, right? Go into the chat, and I almost guarantee you there will be like 13-year-olds role playing like they're fucking vampires, and it's the cringiest shit in the world. And that brings it.
Youthful innocence.
It is, because we did the same fucking shit. But anyway. You can find it there. You can also find it on Reddit, right? There's subreddits dedicated to role playing, and it's just as cringy. You can find it on TikTok. Yeah. I found them. You can find it on TikTok. You can find it
on TikTok.
On TikTok, yeah. You find it on TikTok and message
there's
boards.
Someone YouTube comment. Basically anywhere that anybody can write.
Yeah, I mean, you always see it sometimes in like a YouTube video. Like if you watch an animated. Okay, for you fucking Ruby people that watch this, right? You watch a Ruby
taking shots, right?
Taking fucking shots. The Ruby people, right? You go to like an AMV, like an animated music video dedicated to Yang Xiaolong because you're horny for her or whatever, and you go into the comment section, and there's always somebody with like a YouTube profile titled Yang Xiaolong that says, "Wow, I look great in this," or some shit like that, right? That's the gist of what roleplay is. Except the ones that we did were more like heavy on writing, and it would be like writing 3 to 4 paragraphs in responses to each other, something like that.
When it started out, it was definitely not as sophisticated.
I think, when we started out, but by the time we kind of, anyway, we're getting too far ahead. We're getting too far ahead. Pump the brakes, all right? Pause. There are different types of role play formats, right?
That we would have to get into much later.
But we can just explain it right now, and I can edit it to the front of the video. Very obvious. Yeah. One-liners, obviously, as implied, write one line, usually consisting of 1 to 2 sentences. Next is para.
Semi-para.
That's basically a one-liner. I'm going to be honest. I don't accept that that's a category. But there's semi-para, which is 2 to 3 sentences, right? Then you have para, which is short for paragraph, obviously implying 5 to 8 sentences as per the typical grammatical structure of a paragraph. Then you have multi-para, which is multiple paragraphs.
Usually 2 to 3 paragraphs.
2 to 3 paragraphs written in response to somebody else's. Then you have...
I think it wasn't until much later on that people actually gave it a name, which is novella.
I think we called it something really derogatory. Tryharding or something. Essay. I think it was essay because we'd be like, they always write a fucking essay. Yeah. It might have been essay. But eventually,
at some point, I forgot. I don't know who attached the name to it, but
it's because that's just what it's called in like the real world. Novella writing is just when you write multiple paragraphs.
I should didn't know that.
Yeah, that's just a genre. Yeah.
But then people started attaching novella to it.
Yeah. So novella usually implies both quality and quantity. And then
some people took quantity to a whole nother level.
We don't talk about Bruno, all right?
Somebody said, fuck quality, I'm going quantity.
Right. Okay, we can actually talk about that at one point. But anyway, the whole point is those are the types of roleplay. And the more you roleplayed, the more you'd find that you can have a quality post at like 2 to 3 paragraphs. Way better than the 6 to 7 paragraphs of nonsense, right? And that's just part of like evolving as a writer, honestly. You go from the one-liners to the para to the bunch of shit you don't need, and then you trim it down back to like 2 to 3 paragraphs.
That's people who were trying to get better at the...
Yeah.
Some people got stuck in fucking one spot.
Because they would forget that you have to leave an opening in your writing for the other character to respond, which means that if you write 17 paragraphs, unless the other character is going to respond to every single one, it's just disproportionate. It makes no sense. What would we call it? Filler. Fluff.
Either works.
Whatever. Anyway, okay, continue.
All right, so...
Cut. We're going to get there. Listen. That's the gist of what roleplay is, right? We're just trying to get that out there. That's what roleplay is. And that brings us to how I met this lovely man. And why we now own 3 Shih Tzus. And have a garden. How it started. Okay. So obviously, we talked about what roleplay... Okay, we also got to mention that roleplay had multiple platforms on it back in the day, right? It started off on forums, and then it went to MySpace, for those of you older people that remember.
Even further back.
Go ahead.
AIM.
Oh, AIM message boards. Okay, yeah. I still think that was part of the MySpace times, though, because I remember people, MSN, all that shit, people would message me on that all the time, and AIM, too.
Well, I'm sure even before then, the dawn of the internet, when it was just message boards and...
Dial-up.
Yeah. I'm sure
okay,
it started from there.
But it went to MySpace, right? And then it went to...
various other sites.
Oh, no, there was a specific site. It was called, like... roleplayer.me. It went to roleplayer.me and then Annie Roleplay. And these are websites that you can look up. They're still up right now. Roleplayer.me is literally roleplayer.me.
Basically, it was all condensed, or it felt mostly condensed to MySpace. And once MySpace went through its musical revolution
when
MySpace changed,
and that was devastating too, because it literally erased everything.
It was a massive fucking pilgrimage.
Oh, of everybody like
literally,
yeah.
Everybody from fucking normal people to the role players to whoever used MySpace for anything. Aside from musical artists,
which is like 10 of them, right? All 10 of them had a great group now. But Tom,
there was just a massive fucking pilgrimage, and there was a period of time where everybody's just like,
they were bouncing.
Where do we go now?
Yeah, they were bouncing from place to place, trying to find a place where they could role play, because everywhere had form limits or rules. The forums were run by one person in particular, and they were always like an egotistical douchebag that would be like, okay, if you try to fight me in role play, I'm going to delete your post and then ban you from the forum, right? It's something like that, right? But, right, what people remember is everybody initially jumped ship to roleplayer.me. This was the first one. And then after that, there was like a random forum.
Well,
The forum didn't last very long because it was made by Anguish and Lance.
I feel like after MySpace, every single, I guess, breaking down of like the main role playing site that people use, it would constantly fucking branch into smaller fucking subsections.
Yeah.
And would just keep doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that roleplayer.me originally a bunch of people jumped ship because they didn't like that there was people that would playbys of real people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were real people. So then any roleplay got made for people that wanted to roleplay anime characters. And then you had another one that I don't remember, but there was another one that was like video game characters. And it just kept going and going until people eventually just stop branching out. But now it's like this Facebook roleplay, there's a bunch of different ones. But the whole point is initially with MySpace, right? What you got to remember is we were on it for like 7-8 years, or at least 5. Fuck. No, it was 8 years because it was still going on when I was in the army. Wait, was it? Or did it go away right before I joined the army? Anyway, the point is that.
Well, I mean, by that time it was already starting to fucking.
The point is that we had been role playing on this website for a really long time, so we had like a lot of our role plays, our written out role plays, our group forums were like up in the thousands.
To be fair, things didn't really kick off until we went to.
Oh, until everything went to shit.
Until everything. Well, yeah, we were just starting to like. Actually get to know each other.
Oh no, on the MySpace we were getting shit because our first major thing. Remember, we were getting shit for that. Like we had blown up then because our posts were like literally in the fucking like our group chat post was in 10,000. We had 10,000 pages on it, and then our actual roleplay one had 1,000 pages on it.
I was trying
and we were super fucking proud of that. And then MySpace changed. And it literally just mass deleted everything. Remember? They got rid of forums. They got rid of everything. So we just couldn't do anything.
I'm just trying to remember the transition between. Because it feels like MySpace, at least in the grand scheme of things, MySpace is where we started and started, rise up, actually get to know each other and stuff. And then we transitioned to roleplayer.me, and that's when things actually started getting even bigger. And then we transitioned to anti-roleplay, and that, I feel like it started just...
You have it completely backwards. No offense. Because I know this because I have literally, like, I still have the links to all of our old Noctis profiles on MySpace. Every single one. Wasser, Z, you, Connie, Devi, whatever her fucking name was. I have all those links, and that was way after like the Third War. It was literally as soon as we transitioned.
MySpace?
Yeah, it was when we transitioned to roleplayer.me that we stopped giving a shit. And then once any roleplay happened, I was just like, I don't care anymore, and just died.
I feel like all right. Well,
how did it start for you? How did you get into roleplay?
All right. So, me, I got into. Okay, growing up, did not have a lot. I've always wanted a computer, but family was too poor. So I've never had any access to the internet. It wasn't until I say about 13 to 15 years old when I started getting introduced to, computers and stuff. But something horrible would always happen because I remember my first computer virus, and then we never bothered replacing it. Second computer, my dog chewed the fucking power cables, and we never bothered fucking replacing it. And then I just didn't have any way of fucking accessing anything on the internet until one day or one Christmas. I believe I was like 16 or 17 when I got my first laptop. was shitty, and I used it to fucking yeah.
Anyway,
I got
continue. Yeah.
Christmas, got a laptop, and that's when I started finding out about roleplay. Mind you, absolutely terrible. Because I started out on AIM message board.
How?
Honestly, completely bored, and I just found out that there's a thing that I think it was like a randomizer or something, like it let you look up.
Go through different groups and shit.
Yeah, it let you go through different groups and all that. And I remember stopping on a Bleach group. And
you just picked the worst
by
one.
the way, very little knowledge about anime or anything like that. I think the only thing I knew about anime, and I didn't even know it was anime. Like, I thought it was just cartoons and stuff.
What? You said the C word, bro. Damn.
But I used to watch Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, old school Gundam, Sailor Moon, like all the old anime.
Damn.
But I didn't know it was anime. I didn't even know it was from Japan. I was just like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. A kid and fucking shonen just grabs you like that. But yeah, so I saw Bleach. Didn't know what Bleach was. I just remember reading through this group's thing. It was like, hey, this is kind of interesting. And I remember joining their group RP in session and just kind of staring at them as they like wrote all this stuff down to each other, and I was just kind of like, going on, weird. And they noticed.
Okay, what was your first impression though? Right, you go into this group and you see these people writing at each other, and they're role playing, presumably. Like, did they use the asterisks or the dashes? What did they do?
No. Well, some of them used the asterisk stuff, but I think a majority of them actually like wrote down in third person.
Oh, with the like quotes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So did that like throw you off? Or you just like, what the fuck do you
mean?
No. What the fuck do you mean? Looks at him sheepishly. What the fuck?
Fucking. I don't have a very high self-esteem in regards to my own intelligence, but obviously I put 1 to 1 together and was like, oh, obviously they're pretending to be other people, because this is reading out like a book.
Okay.
And one of them noticed that this random dude like in the chat, and he messaged me. He's like, hey man, are you here to sign up? I'm like, I mean, looks interesting. I don't have any experience or anything. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Just show us what you got. Well, he basically said, do you have a character profile? Or do you have who do you want to be? And I remember
6 foot, 6 foot, muscles, sexy.
No, fucking. Oh man, I went with an edgy shonen character.
Of course,
and,
as you do.
What's funny is, I think this is where it like clicked for me that I enjoy making characters. Like, I enjoy working out a background and just thinking of random stuff, because I was actually enjoying making this OC. And I remember showing this guy everything that I've written down, because they had like a
sign up
guideline.
Form? Oh, a guideline?
Yeah, like, hey, name, blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah. So
Zanpakuto, ability.
Yeah.
I remember filling that out, giving it to him, and he fucking was like, this is a canon character. Like, there's already a captain. Like, there's already a pre-established captain. Where you're not really doing OC. I mean, I guess you can be a random member of whatever captain you want to be. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right. And that was very short lived. Like, I did that for maybe a week or two.
Wow.
Because very clearly I started writing and, like, nobody was really interested in role playing with me or anything like that. And so I essentially kind of just ghosted them.
Mm.
And
Sounds like they ghosted you.
What?
It sounds like you said nobody wanted to write with you.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. It's just everybody had canon characters, and I was like one of the only OCs, and like nobody was interested.
Which everybody we interacted with was like an OC canon character.
Oh,
Anyway, okay,
But-
continue. Yeah, where'd you go from there then?
And from there, I fucking found MySpace.
Yeah,
But
nice.
this was before. Well, I don't know if this was before they introduced groups or.
No, the groups have been there for like a long ass time. You probably just didn't know they existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was in like a weird drop down menu and you had to go look for it.
Like, this was before. I didn't know that groups existed.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I would do, I would just scour the forums, and like at the time, like there was a long list of random. I think it was organized by interest.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Yeah,
just,
and the interests were weird though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like
And all of the roleplay ones were in other.
yes,
Yeah, they were in other.
and
yeah.
not only that, but I believe MySpace also showed the number of people looking at the thing, and other was like packed.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, this is interesting. Go there. And it was just random bullshit. Like, some people were role playing, some people weren't role playing. It's kind of just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people just talking bullshit. I remember there was like a house party role play going on.
Oh, those were the worst, dude. Those were where people would just go to like.
And it was filled with one-liners.
I loved it when it'd just be like, stumbles in, I'll take a whiskey. And you're just like, this is a house party, bro. What do you do? He just walked in and took a whiskey.
But it was like that. It was just filled with one-liners. One-liner obviously implying that somebody only writing one sentence.
Continue.
All right, so house party role play and other, and again
Typically one-liners.
filled with one-liners, but that was kind of where I was at in terms of writing as well. Because again, very new, exposed to the role playing scene and writing in general. Like, I only just started getting interested in writing, and so I jumped in, started out just replying to people, kind of throwing out fucking like, hey guys, how's it going? Hey, just walking in, fucking thumbs up, like, hey, just bless you, replying to random people. And at some point is when I kind of started questioning, like, this is kind of boring. Like, this is stupid.
Like it was a circle. It's kind of like a circle interaction. Like, hey, what's up? Not much. What's up with you? Like, kind of just like it was like a normal interaction.
Like, it didn't feel right. But I did make some friends within that group. And one guy in particular whose name escapes me, and obviously I wouldn't want to name and shame.
I would. Fuck that guy.
But one guy in particular I became friends with.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. No. 100% not you. And I just remember him kind of just inviting me to groups.
Oh.
And my mind was blown. Because this dude had, a group that was edited. Like,
oh yeah, the
custom
nice
background,
HTML and shit.
Yeah, HTML. Like, it was. My mind was like,
You're so cool. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like, I
How
was
do
like,
I be
wow,
part
this
of
dude's
you?
cool. And like, he basically told me like, hey man, you should make an OC, like an actual OC, join this group, become part of it. I want you to be my right hand man.
Sounds suspiciously like what I said.
No, but he invited me, because we were friends, and I joined. And at that point, I started doing like semi to para stuff.
Hmm.
And again, I compared my writing because I have that thing where I have to reread what I write, and then I have to compare it to somebody else.
Yeah, an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw what I write compared to the people in the group who were throwing out multi-para and
Hmm.
stuff like that, or more details and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So I just started copying them.
That's a good way to learn.
Not like, obviously
Yeah,
copy,
you kind
but
of follow
I
their
started looking at
format.
their sentence structures and
Yeah, yeah,
formats and what they did, and I was like, yeah, this is easy. I can do that.
yeah.
So I started writing more detailed, and I remember around this time, I feel like I met a few people that we would later encounter,
Oh no.
like at the beginning,
Oh.
and also this is my first introduction. Not in an introduction, but this is where I had a brief glance with this entity
Oh no.
that we shall call T1.
Oh no. Oh, I forgot about the
Because
T1. Did I write down T1?
I don't think you did.
Oh, I didn't write down T1. Okay, we got to talk about the T1.
This is T1 is a whole nother monster.
We'll add that in after we get done with the how it started, right? Because the T1 really came into like right after we met. Because it was literally the rebellion, bro.
I remember
It was the rebellion.
I remember that my friend at the time might have been one of like the first
The founding people.
One of the founding people.
So he's one of those fucking losers.
One of the first fucking people who I saw like mention T1 and like have that kind of style of writing.
I totally forgot about T1E.
No, there was a whole.
No, I forgot about T1E, the T1 Empire, the group.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about them. Continue.
But yeah, it was my first brief interaction with that I knew of, but during the time, there's a whole bunch of tournaments and general fucking group
Wickety do how.
Yeah, like everybody was role playing, and it was around this time that I'm going to briefly skim over that. Again, very young, some drama,
love,
fucking teenage drama,
it was love,
and
it was love.
I remember not being happy anymore, and also
Depression.
the group was dying.
As
like people were leaving. I think around this time is like when a lot more groups were being established, and
wait, this was during the golden age. That's what it was called, the golden age of roleplay.
The silver age.
No, it was the golden age. The silver age wasn't that after? Isn't that the way that works? Is that it's the golden age, then it's the silver age, then it's shit?
I thought it would be the silver age, then the golden age, then the platinum age.
I think maybe you're talking about the golden age though, because right around the time we came through with our shit, that will be
because
that's when people started saying that
I'm pretty sure.
Sucked.
Yeah, after this,
because we didn't.
His group started dying. People started posting there less and less, and I was kind of just starved for like more
interactions.
Not interaction, but like I wanted a reason to continue writing.
And you didn't love writing then?
I loved writing.
You needed a reason to write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe it's around this time that I started getting introduced to manga and more anime stuff. Around this time is when I started reading this small little thing called Naruto.
Naruto. Also known as the greatest fucking manga / anime to exist. Demon Slayer sucks.
So, I think it's around this time is when I saw the Naruto role players like. I feel like this is like just a massive. I think this
It was
around the
a
time-
rush, yeah.
Yeah, there was like an inflation of fucking
Yeah.
Naruto. I think it's mostly just Naruto.
It was Naruto's, but this was because the anime had just started releasing, and it was literally on the episode of the Chunin exams, when Sasuke is fighting Orochimaru for the first time in the Chunin exams, and then he gets the curse mark. This is literally where it was at, because that's the exact point in time where I started doing it. Right, it was right then, and it was because it started airing on the network, like Cartoon Network or whatever it was. People would watch it.
Right.
So they just did this massive influx of all these, like, there was like 7 characters, and there was just 20 fucking thousand of them all on the stupid website.
And like,
Cause then,
but around this time though, I basically lost connection with all my old friends and stuff. So I didn't know anybody. I was just kind of like, sometimes I'd look at the old group and stuff like that
and feel
but
nostalgia.
I would mostly just kind of hang out.
Mhm.
I distinctly remember seeing a vampire Gara at some point.
Why don't you pump the brakes there? Because you're spoiling the fun parts for me.
But it's around this time that I think we actually met.
Okay, but listen, you have to preface this with the character that you were.
Right. And because.
But wait, we don't get into the group just yet. You know.
Well, no, I know,
okay.
but it was around this time that obviously there's no point in me having my OC. So I just basically looked for anything else, and there was an influx of Naruto role players.
Mm-hmm.
There was a reason to fucking read Naruto, the manga.
Mm-hmm.
I read the manga, and I saw.
Fell in love with him. Just say you fell in love with him, because
I
that's
saw
what really
a
happened.
certain character.
What was the character, Ray?
And honestly, looking back at it, I obviously have a taste.
Yeah.
I have a type.
Yeah.
And like I saw all these Naruto characters, and I'm like,
I mean, to be fair, to give you like a little bit, there was 2 like main baddies, and everybody else was this like stupid shonen character or whatever the fuck. It was just like everybody was basic as fuck, basically.
Well, everybody was,
except
there was a majority of OCs were basically just Chunin.
Yeah, but
Leaf Shinobi.
But I mean, like the bad guys, right?
Right.
There was a very small pool to pick from. You had Haku, Zabuza, Gaara, Orochimaru, Itachi, and
Kasame. And so I saw this. Honestly, didn't even know he had blue skin or anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Obviously,
Nobody
it was in the manga.
Yeah,
but you know, obviously, dude looks like a shark. Fucking.
And you just love.
He had a badass sword.
He did have a badass sword. It's shit now.
And I was like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I made a Kasame account.
And
surprisingly, very popular.
Yes, and pause, because I'm pretty sure after this is when our paths start to cross. How I got started, similar situation to Ray. Let's see. My first brief. Okay, listen. My family had like one computer, right? And this was after my mom and dad were divorced. And I lived with my mom, who solely lived off of the like $1,000 that my dad would give her in like matrimony a month or some shit like that. Total drunk, total alcoholic, you know the whole spiel. But we had this one computer, and it was dial up, and it was fucking slow as shit. And the thing is, right, I would always want to use the computer because I just didn't know what the fuck it was, right? The only time I ever used a computer was in computer labs in school. So I was like, when I would get home, I would get home at 3 o'clock. And my sister was older than me, so she would get home at 2 o'clock. And she would just stay on the fucking computer on MySpace from like 2 o'clock until our mom got home at like 10:30, bro. And by then, I wasn't allowed to go on the computer because I had to go to sleep, which started this very terrible sleep schedule in my life where I would have to wait until my sister got off the computer, wait until my mom went to sleep, and try to quietly go on the computer and and you know the dial-up tone that it did? We had speakers, and I didn't know how to turn them off, so it would do the dial tone at like fucking midnight, and I would be trying to figure it out. But eventually, I did, right? And I got on MySpace because all of my friends were on MySpace, all of my school friends, but none of them added me on MySpace. That was fucked up, right? It was fucked up. They wouldn't add me on MySpace, and
at least you had Tom.
And actually, the first thing that happened was there's two ways. There's one way that I was introduced to Naruto, and it was because I was on MySpace, and one of my friends, this guy named Matt, last name censored. This guy named Matt, who I fucking hated in later years, because he literally like called me a poor fuck, dude. We were like fucking 12, man. I was like, why would you pull? Anyway, he had on his profile an AMV, and it was Spine Shack. What was it? Spine Shack. Suffered. Smothered by Spine Shack. AMV, and it was Sasuke versus Orochimaru. That was the first fucking time that I ever saw anything related to anime.
You were introduced to your love, AMV.
Dude, I wasn't allowed to watch TV, and I wasn't allowed to like do anything, right? So when I was on the computer, that was like my first introduction to it, and I was like, holy shit. So I literally remember, because the next day I like called out from school, in the sense that I like pretended I was sick, right? And my mom just didn't give a shit, right? And it actually got to a point where I would like, if I just hid in the house, she would leave for work, and then she didn't care. She literally didn't care. I could just be there by the time she got home, and she wouldn't give a shit. And my sister would be like, how the hell are you here before me? And I was like, got out early. What do you mean? You know? But Spine Shack, Smothered, and then right after that, I like binge watched all the Naruto episodes that were available, which was really fucking hard back in the day. It was hard to find them, right? Because just hard to find them online, and I couldn't watch like the ones on TV because
should have gotten the Crunchy.
I don't think it existed then. I really don't.
No, I don't.
It was like, this is like fucking 2006 or 2004. I don't fucking remember. But I binge watched all the things, and I fell in love with Tamari. Tamari, right? The character, she was like so hot, and I remember that. I was like 12, bro. All right, I'm allowed to think this chick's hot because, oh my god. But anyway, that led to me, when I made my MySpace profile, I put Tamari, Gaara, and Conqueror as like the group photo of them. I put that as my profile image, and I named myself like the Sand King or something stupid like that, right? None of my friends added me. That's the important.
They saw that.
That's the important part to remember, is none of my friends added me, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he's been holding this grudge ever since.
I have. Fuck those people. But anyway, and then right after that, some random Tamari added me. Like, I swear to God, I didn't look for them. Right? It was on MySpace. That was my thing. And I had like an AMV in my fucking profile that was Gaara, and it was Blood Red Sandman, or It was Enter Sandman by Metallica. I had that, so just this random Tamari added me, and she like sent me a message that was something like, "Smiles at you," hey, what's up, Gara? And I was like, hey. I was so fucking confused. I don't consider myself an intellectual at all. So I was like, I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on there.
What's your game?
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck this was. And then okay, let's just say that it was a little weird. Okay, cuz I'm pretty sure this chick was way older than me. But she was like trying to role play with me.
Right.
And I didn't understand. Let's just say I didn't understand how anything worked about anything, right?
I don't like that implication, but go on.
I did. Okay, I'm just saying.
No, just go on.
Yeah, my point is that I didn't understand what was going on. Anyway, from fucking the Tamari, that was worded terribly.
Yeah.
From the Tamari to just like her friends started adding me, and then more people started adding me, and literally it just became I started adding people.
You got flooded by the narc.
That's pretty much exactly what happened. And but the thing is, my role plays were so like edgy and weird because Gara, obviously a villain character who like crushes people to death and is a sociopath, and me at 13 thinking, well, this guy understands me. This guy,
I'm so cool.
This guy, no, Gara gets me, right? Like Gara and me have a thing, right? Like that's what I thought.
God, I'm so cool.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Okay, listen. So, from Gara, the role plays that I had were just very edgy, stupid, or just weird, right? They never went past one-liners ever until I encountered one Naruto that I'm pretty sure was a chick in real life. Like I swear to God it was a girl because they like posted a selfie or something. But anyway, the Naruto actually like tried to fight me. And I remember
as one does.
And I remember being so fucking confused by what was going on. Like I had no concept of Gaara's sand, how anything worked or how the character worked at all. And I'm pretty sure we just never went after like 2 replies because I legitimately didn't know how to reply.
Right.
Then that old Tamari came back into my life. And she was
the first flame.
And she was a vampire. I remember this. She was a vampire, right? And there's something you got to remember about me at this age, all right? Is I didn't understand what character I was using. I didn't understand like the intricacies of the person. To me it was like it was just role play. So I did possibly the cringiest thing on the fucking planet.
Yeah,
first of all,
just listening to this.
First of all, the Tamari turned me into a vampire. So I was
as
Vampire Gara, also known as VA Gara, right? Right?
Vigara.
I was VA Gara. And then this OC Akatsuki person recruited me into the Akatsuki like in 2 lines of dialogue, right? Like
Vampire Akatsuki.
I became Vampire Akatsuki Gara. And I remember this because I had edited a picture of him that was so fucking bad. It was badly edited because I was like 13, right? It was Gara, but right down the middle it had like the Zetsu thing where it was like half of him was black and half of him was white. And he had the Akatsuki cloak and he was a vampire that was in the Akatsuki. That was Gara. Now, that was probably the height of my cringe. Vampire Akatsuki Gara was the worst that I've ever done, hands down. And then after that, what was his face? Some other dude. This is where I first encountered T1. I think it was T1 Tyrell or something, because he was one of the founding members of it.
God, sounds familiar.
He had that Final Fantasy default, I think, of just like the shirtless dude, just like long flowing hair, and it was just a giant sword.
Zach.
All I know is that his name in character started with a T, and he had T1E in his name. That's it. But I encountered this guy, and this guy fought me. And by fought me, I mean...
He flooded you with words.
He sent me like 7 paragraphs and basically said, you suck, kid. Fuck you. Literally, and like deleted me. And that was, I'm pretty sure my reply wasn't that bad, okay? But it probably wasn't that good either. But it was like, you gotta remember, this guy sent me like 8 paragraphs and it wasn't even an attack. It was just him showing up.
Nothing personnel, kid.
Exactly, right? And then he's just like, you fucking suck dick, go fuck yourself. And that was literally the changing point for me. Because immediately after that, I changed vampire.
You became the pettiest,
most fucking dickhead motherfucker.
Will literally fucking run 100 miles just to prove someone wrong.
Exactly. That is the point. Okay, but then I changed my character from Vampire Akatsuki Gara. I remember because this is right around the time when I think it was when Deidara had first gotten introduced. It was the very beginning of Shippuden. Very beginning. Like, literally when... Yeah, because it was Sasori and Deidara. Very first time they were introduced. Like, yeah, it was the very start of the Shippuden. And I made a Deidara character because explosives look fun. That's pretty much it. But nobody knew anything about the abilities of either character or whatever.
I'm actually surprised you didn't make a story. Actually, no, because the story at the time
was
a giant, fat...
just puppet thing, yeah, and I just wasn't into it. But then, you remember, I did make a Sasori later on, which became...
You made everything.
But dude, the corpse composer? Come on, I was a fucking badass. Alright, anyway. The point is, I made Deidara, and from Deidara, I kind of decided that I wanted to make my own group. Because I didn't have a concept of what groups were until I found the T1E guy, and I got so mad after him fucking like
just a flashback.
Yeah,
seeing red.
This fucking dick holster, right? Basically says I suck at the game and get good, kid. And I was just like, what the fuck do you mean?
You were staring at him from across the street, dude, watching what he's doing, and be like, I'm gonna do it better.
I fucking like hunted down. I found their fucking groups and I looked over their shit, right? And this is when I encountered what T1 is. Right? T1E and all that shit. And right after encountering that, I decided to make a new profile with a single goal in mind. I wanted to fucking fuck those guys. Like, I fucking hate those people. So I was going to make a group where I'm the fucking badass and I'm going to fucking...
You're going to become Omni-Man so you could just stare down at these guys and just be like...
Yes!
Pathetic.
Look at what they need to mimic a fraction of my power. That's what I wanted. So I made a new profile, and I almost completely forgot about the Vampire Akatsuki Gara profile, the Deidara one. I almost completely forgot about it. I literally like left it behind. I didn't talk to anybody from that profile ever again, and I went straight to this new one. And the new one I made based off of literally just the outline of Pain shown from when they sealed the characters. It was just the fucking outline, and that's how I would like interact with group members or anything, as literally a fucking hologram. That's what I would do. But that was the start of where you and I met, because I made my group, and the group
just went around trying. You went around trying to find the Infinity Stones.
We gotta remember, when I made this group, my goal was I was gonna be the one to fuck everybody, right?
Right.
So I made I made a profile of Pain specifically to have a Pain, and then I made every other member of Akatsuki,
right,
and I put them inside my group to make it look like I had a group with 10 of like the best fucking motherfuckers I knew, because they were all me. That's what it was. I was fucking, and I remember, I didn't know what Akatsuki meant. This was key. So the name Akatsuki, I didn't know what it meant. So when I made the group, I literally called it Akatsuki Dawn. And people would, for years in the future,
Nobody said shit.
People pointed it out a bunch of times to me. They're like, hey, you know your fucking group means Dawn, right? I was like, yeah.
But at this point, it's like you're already strapped in and there's no getting off.
But I lied through my teeth about it, right? I said the Akatsuki was the characters that I was playing, and Dawn was the dawn in the new age of roleplay I was gonna. Dude, that was some fucking cringe shit right there. But anyway, so I made this Akatsuki group by myself, Akatsuki Dawn, and literally in the group purpose, was the most edgy shit. It was something like,
Oh yeah.
It was like a quote from Rammstein, I'm pretty sure, because I had Fuhrer Fire as a Fuhrer Fire. Bang, bang, that thing, because I watched Triple X recently, which is the whole reason that was in there. But I put it as the group's song, and the quote was literally just I think it was, "We're the children of evil and are surely insane." Because I later used that for the Noctis, too. And it's like my favorite quote of all time. "We are the children of evil and are surely insane." Anyway, I made this group. All the characters were me. I at one point did a group meeting with myself. And I literally talked to myself.
I got to make sure to keep up appearances.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I literally made a group meeting and I talked to myself and told myself what I was gonna do.
You were fucking flying by the seat of your pants.
Dude, I was in it, man. What do you mean? I was fucking going for it. It was fucking on like Donkey Kong, motherfucker. But this weird thing happened when I began my pillaging, my fucking branching out and trying to look for other groups to attack because I wanted to build a reputation for myself so these fuckers in T1E would take me seriously, right? And I started encountering other Akatsuki people that wanted to join the group.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first one was Conan. Either the first one was Conan or the first one was you. But I don't remember which one was which. I think
honestly, it's a complete.
I think it was.
Coin toss.
I think it was just a random Conan, and then afterwards you came in, because it was just a random ass Conan.
And I remember you fucking approaching me as Deidara, just being like, "Hey."
I don't know if I approached you as Deidara.
It was one of the Akatsuki members, and you approached me like, "Hey, you want to join my group?" And I remember looking at the group and be like, "You guys, you already have a Kasame?"
I was Sasori at that time. Then I didn't use Deidara for anything.
Yeah, you invited me to the group. I looked at the group, and I was like, "Don't you already have a Kasame?" And you fucking told me, "Oh no, that Kasame doesn't roleplay anymore. Spot's open."
Yeah.
I was like,
"Yeah,
all right,
yep."
And I lived my life by a very specific motto. Always go with the flow.
Yeah.
So I don't question jack shit, and I just fucking roll with it.
Right. So I get this douchebag into my group, right? He's Kasame. And Rei as Kasame was the most unreliable motherfucker on the planet. Like, would show up 3 days late to a war, would fucking post maybe once every month. But the important thing is, I'm pretty sure we talked on like MSN or something almost every day.
Yeah.
Like we talked constantly, and then we started playing Xbox Live together. And literally we were
before then, I remember for some reason I thought I was dog shit, but I remember you would always compliment me.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "Dude, you captured this character perfectly."
The 3 times that you posted,
yeah, it's just like an idiot savant is just like, "God, you are unreliable." God, when you fucking hit it, you are.
Yeah, no, you were really good. You were good for Kisame, because I guess you just weren't. I don't know. I don't feel like you were ever pushed to a point where you would ever be breaking character, right? Like, there's never a point in a fight or an interaction where you had to like think of something that Kisame would say.
Also, I was never fucking held down by this fucking ideology that you have to mimic something perfectly. Because there's some canon role players who like treat canon as gospel.
Oh yeah.
And we've encountered a lot of people like that who are just like, "Hey, this character has never said this thing or done this thing or acted in this way.
Yeah.
So therefore, everything you've done,
voided.
Bullshit.
Voided. Doesn't count." But that was just kind of part of the roller coaster, honestly, because we were attacked by a bunch of random fucking Naruto groups that were just like
Yeah, and my fucking go-to thing was always like, look, there's literally 2 or 3 chapters
Mm-hmm.
where this dude shows up.
Yeah.
This is all the information I have. If you want me to literally not do anything aside from just throw out a punch or swing my fucking stick around.
But here's the thing, is you did that.
Yeah.
You minimalized it a lot.
Yeah.
You really went off the source material for as long as you could, and every now and then I remember because you would ask me like,
and I would do
you would ask me,
things.
like, hey, do you think Kasame can use a water clone? And I'd be like, yeah, why wouldn't he be able to?
Well, no,
that's like a basic fucking thing.
No, because there's points where I was just like, why wouldn't Kasame use water jutsu as a shark? And I fucking called it. Because later on he starts doing that.
Well, he uses water jutsu literally in the first time that he's shown.
Well, yeah, but
he doesn't use it.
He used one water jutsu. I was like, if he can do that, then obviously he should be able to do this.
Yeah.
And if he can do that, then he should obviously be able to do this. I didn't do any chakra absorption or fucking...
Because you didn't even fucking know that he could do that.
Right.
Except for the sword thing. But the sword wasn't even revealed. I don't think, was it? No, I don't think it was. Because it just said that his sword shapes.
It was implied because I believe Asuma had the chakra blades.
No, that was only in the anime.
Oh, that was in the anime.
Yeah. No, he had the chakra blades, but it was shown that he like cut Kasame or whatever. That was the only mention of it. It didn't like absorb from them or anything like that. I'm pretty sure the first mention of Kasame actually using the chakra absorption was literally like in the next chapter when he fought Jiraiya and Naruto tried to do his chakra thing and then it just absorbed it. But yeah, no, from what I remember, you did the same thing that I did, which is just totally minimal. Like when we knew what pain looked like, that was when I started using pain a lot.
Also, to be fair, I think the first time somebody gave me shit for it, one of the things I fucking hate is when somebody fucking gives me shit for like stupid, some dumb and like small. So I escalate to like my breaking point. So when somebody gave me shit for it, I was like, all right.
I'll just swing a fucking sword.
If somebody gave me shit for fucking like trying to do, I remember I tried to do that fucking water dragon thing that Zabuza did.
The 75 fucking hand sign one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody gave me shit for it. It's like, Kasame didn't do that. You have no proof.
But the whole point was that Kasame is literally one of the best hidden miss ninja.
Right.
Why wouldn't he be able to do something like that? And then you have
and
later on
in the shit for it, and I was just like, fine, I'll just swing my sword.
Yeah.
Because I know that he has an absurd amount of fucking strength.
Mm-hmm. And he can absorb shit.
Fucking just kept hitting people with the sword.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
But let's see. So we had the okay, so you and me we're in Akatsuki together, right?
And
listen,
I honestly thought every one of those characters was their own separate person.
But they weren't. They were all
because
me.
I believed in you, who told me that they were all different people.
Bro, it's all roleplay. It's all make believe, anyway, right? Listen, as long as you think it's a person, that's all that matters. Actually, the important thing is I did not roleplay a Conan because I didn't know what that character was.
True.
Didn't know what it was, so I didn't roleplay a Conan. What I did roleplay more heavily than the Pain one was Sasori. And I think Itachi.
Well, here's the thing. This is how I know I'm fucking completely gullible bastard, especially when it comes to friends, family. Because I literally fucking just thought that whenever you brought like someone new in, that the previous fucking your fucking old profiles just decided to quit roleplay. I never questioned it. Not once. I fucking never questioned it.
In your defense, literally nobody questioned it. Nobody did. Until literally like 2 years later, Then everybody started thinking everyone was me.
And
I was like...
Then it became the reverse.
Yeah, I was like, none of these people are me. The other ones were. And you guys didn't say bullshit. But anyway, so we started getting new members. Mm-hmm. Let's go down the list. Let's go down the roster real quick of... All right. Conan. I got a few. I know the main ones. Okay, I know Conan, who was two different people. It was Devi and then this chick called Aurora, right? Mm-hmm. Devi was the second one, unreliable, never posted, just like this guy. Aurora posted sometimes, but literally her contributions to the group were pretty much do what Payne says. And then, that was it. That's all that she did.
But to be fair,
that's what that character does too. I mean,
to be fair, like at this time, nobody really fucking knows.
I mean, even now, Conan is useless. Conan is a useless character. I refuse to, not viable in roleplay at least. But so we had Conan, then we had the Itachi, and our Itachi was this weird fucking guy. This weird fucking guy that just messaged me one day. And he was an Itachi, and he had like a nicely edited photo, so I was just like, what's up, bro?
He was very friendly.
Yeah, he was super friendly, right? I remember this guy because he was weird, but he was really nice. And he was just a super chill dude, but he never fought. That's the one thing. He did not fight once.
But he kept inviting me to go with him to do stuff.
He never invited me to do it.
I was Kasame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. There was I made people partner up and actually roleplay with their partners. Imagine that. But it was that Itachi. He was nice, and he just he never fought in wars with us. I think there was one where you guys were both together, and you like posted once each, and then like nothing happened after that. I don't remember what that was, but that was one. Then we had Raziel, who is a character that we will get into later. The point is, Raziel entered our group as Sasuke. He was a Sasuke, right? And I mean, he was a good writer, but
I will admit,
just an asshole.
The Sasuke position in AD, very messy.
Yeah, because I had it at one point.
You had it at one point while pretending to be your cousin.
While pretending to be my cousin. Wait, no.
That's what you told me. That your cousin was the Sasuke.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Once
again. That should have raised a fucking...
Right? That should have.
That should have raised like a red... Not even a red flag, but at the very least a flag.
You know what should have raised a red flag for you? Is the fact that Sasuke, who is allegedly my cousin, was fighting everybody in our group.
Yeah.
Just constantly. Because I was trying to figure out people I could replace.
Fucking...
That was part of it.
Also, obviously, similar writing styles.
Very similar. Identical, because it's me. It was me, is my point.
It was me all along, Austin. But
I remember I ditched that after Dylan kept talking about how much he wanted to be Sasuke. And the only reason I kept the Sasuke position under that fucking facade was because as the manga went on, he just got more and more OP. Like, super fucking bad. Like, could fucking enslave everybody with a glance. Fucking infinite Amaterasu's or whatever. And I was just like, this character's just going to be me, and I'm just never going to use it because it's fucking stupid. There's just no way it's going to be viable. Because I knew the second I give it to someone, they're going to Susanoo spam.
To be fair, around this time, there was also a massive influx of Sasuke.
Because obviously,
yeah,
he was becoming the guy, right? Right after he unlocked his Mangekyo, it was just like everybody was like, oh, I'm soft. So there was Raziel as Sasuke, and eventually we booted him from the position just because he was inactive, and there was also like just there was a weird disconnect in the sense of he hated our guts, and that was pretty much it.
I don't know if you pointed out.
I think he was super
someone pointed
jealous.
Out that why is there a Sasuke in 80?
Oh yeah. That was also a thing.
Because I think this was before
he was in.
Temporarily joined.
Yeah, the only thing I ever gave him credit for was the fact that he would use Sasuke just as curse seal. and I thought that was cool because that wasn't OP.
You also did the same thing.
I know.
You kept limiting yourself.
I did that because for a reason, man.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It's fun. It's more fun, but so he left on. I swear to God, I thought he was like jealous or mad or something like that. But it could have been just because we booted him from the Sasuke position. Because I remember he also wanted to be Itachi, and I'm pretty sure I replaced him with our other Itachi because our other Itachi was gone. He just never posted, so I replaced him with Itachi, and he was fine with Itachi. But again, just like so overpowered, and it wasn't to the point where it was like insufferable, but it got to the point where like every time he was in a gotcha moment, it was an illusion, and it started to annoy me.
To be fair, that was also every Itachi roleplay.
Yeah, but it was just like, okay, at one point, if your illusions don't affect them, they haven't looked in your eyes. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird, but he left the group under mysterious circumstances, and then we had this other guy come in, Dylan. You remember Dylan? Dylan joined our group with a Naruto OC.
Okay.
You don't remember Dylan?
No, of course I remember.
No, I mean, you remember how he came into the group.
I don't remember his OC.
It was green. He had a green OC.
Is it like a Naruto play-by with like green?
I don't think it was a Naruto play-by. I think he used one of those OC Naruto templates. Like from one of those weird... You know how that one artist made a bunch of different Naruto characters as OCs and called it like the future or some shit like that? Anyway, he used one of those templates because it was spiky hair, green and yellow. Like, it was super edgy.
But, man.
But I remember, because he came in and he fought somebody. And he either fought me as Sasuke, or he fought one of our other members. Oh, I totally forgot about the other guy. I think that's who he fought. I think he fought Akis.
Well, hold on. Let's take a step back. Because we already fucking mentioned Dylan. By the way.
Yeah.
Really cool guy at the time.
Yeah, he was a little too... He really wanted to impress us. And I do not find that a redeemable trait in people. Like, when you're just constantly veining for my attention. I would have preferred it if he just... Because remember what I told him when he, like... There's no point in not saying this. He joined the group. He tried to fight one of us. And he got his ass whooped. Like, I'm pretty sure he got one posted. Which is... One posting is obviously when you kill a character or write something that they're just dead in the next post. And it's different between not auto-killing someone, which is not cool. It's not God-moding someone. It's when you write something that they cannot get out of and they accept that they died. That's a one post, right? So,
but he really wanted to join AD.
The point is he argued the fuck out of it. I remember this. And I was like, at one point, eventually, he conceded and was like, okay, yeah, I lost. Sorry. And then he was like, can I join AD? And I was like, you know what, dude? Fuck it. I don't care. I said, stick around and fight people, get better, and sure. And
I think at that point,
I told him to.
Was the Deidara spot open?
Yeah, the Deidara spot was open.
That's
and I told him pick one of the open spots, and there was Deidara, Zetsu, and I think he wanted to be Toby, but I told him not to be Toby. Oh no, he wanted to be Toby and Sasori, and I told him not to be either of them. I told him to pick Deidara because.
To be fair, at this time, Toby joke character.
Yeah, joke character. But so that was Dylan, and that's how Dylan joined. And Dylan was always like the. I think Dylan was the little brother.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like we picked the fuck out of that.
Oh
dude.
god, yeah.
We were so
to be
mean
fair,
to him.
In my defense, I felt I was a little bit nicer.
You were. I was not nice
because I remember I would just occasionally talk to him, just like. But at some point, he went from little brother to just established meat shield.
Oh yeah, he was the
that
meat shield.
Became his nickname for a while.
The meat shield. But that's
we
tied
would
into
just
that.
Relentlessly make jokes about that.
That's tied into the other thing. But anyway, so he joined and he was our Deidara, but he was, I would say he's probably the second worst. He was the second worst like writer in the group, or fighter. I should say fighter because the second worst fighter in the group, which is why I literally gave him like the easiest character in the fucking, because you literally explode. That's it. That's all. It's fucking easy, right? But then I recruited one person personally, and it was because on Pain. I remember this. This was like on Pain. I encountered this Madara that had a combination of the Byakugan and the Sharingan. And he called it like the Byaku Shingun or something. Like, I swear to God, he called it that. And I was
ironically, he was on the path.
He was right. But at the time, we didn't fucking know that, right? This was like literally at the time where.
Hey, he called it though.
I mean, he did get. I mean, everybody fucking gets that. Because they literally said that the Byakugan is descendant of the Sharingan when Neji's fighting fucking Sasuke or whatever.
But nobody knew it was gonna fucking turn into that.
Yeah, nobody thought it would get that deep. But anyway, so I encountered this Madara that had this fucking just overpowered ass shit. And he wanted to fight me. And I remember he wrote like 30 fucking paragraphs throwing shit at me. Like he used 19 techniques and shit like all at once. And
to be fair,
I was Pain.
Turns out that he was kind of right.
He was also kind of right about that.
Turns out Madara can do that.
But this was when Madara wasn't even resurrected yet, right? We all thought he was dead.
Right.
Wink. You know, we all thought he was Toby, basically. So I was using Pain, but this was when Pain's only abilities revealed were the absorption, the summoning. That was it.
Right.
Yeah, that was it. Those are all the abilities that were known, and the black rods that could like fuck up Chakra, right? I fought him with like this empty ass reservoir, and at one point it just got to the point where we were just constant back because it was like a fucking 20 back and forth. This was in messages. It wasn't even in groups. Nobody was witnessing this. There was no point to go this hard.
But
he just refused.
Never forget, you're a petty ass motherfucker.
I'm a petty, but he was just as fucking petty as me. Right? So he would try all these weird shit. And at one point near the end, I was just like, dude, your character is extremely fucking overpowered. You should come to my group. But I was like, you have to ditch that character. You can join my Akatsuki, though. You can be whatever one was open. And it was Kakuzu. Kakuzu was open. And then not long after Kakuzu came through, we had our Hidan come through, who was literally Heee Dawn. Remember? Because that was Connie, who was a girl. Yeah. Connie was one of our other friends who's very long lived in our hearts. Married and has a kid now. So
why are you?
You
were talking like she died. I was
right. She's dead to me.
I had a fucking.
She's dead to me.
You nearly fucking
Fuck
scared
that
me.
shit.
Goddamn.
But anyway, the point is that so not long after we got a Kakuzu, we got a Hidan, and the Hidan we didn't know it at the time, but I'm pretty sure at one point randomly we were just bullshitting in the OOC, and Hidan's like, "Yeah, I'm a fucking girl, by the way." And we're just like. That makes sense. We're like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it was a very subdued reaction.
Yeah, nobody really gave a shit. But we had Hidan, who was like, I'd say Hidan was probably the worst fighter out of everybody, just because so limited.
Oh yeah, no,
horribly limited.
Hidan is.
The character itself is limited as fuck. Like you can get like exploded.
You really have to pick your battles.
You really have to have a Kakuzu with you if you're fighting.
And it's also very hard considering that fucking everybody's OC was like fucking
super overpowered and just fucking. But anyway, that's pretty much the full roster if we're not counting Nightmare Orochimaru, who I did eventually recruit to be our official Orochimaru.
That's somebody that we'll bring up later.
Perhaps. Maybe. But the point is that he was...
Probably not.
All right, so, well, anyway, just briefly, Nightmare Orochimaru was an OC Orochimaru who was like this literal eldritch god version of Orochimaru. It was like an OC blended with a canon.
It was very metal.
Yeah, it was super fucking edgy is the point, right? He was a very close friend of ours, did some weird shit, and we kind of don't talk about it anymore. But he was a good writer, and for a brief stint of like maybe 3 months, he was our Orochimaru in Akatsuki Dawn, and it worked out pretty good. And then he just disappeared forever.
He faded
He literally faded.
There was a fucking family photo, and
And
I stared at that photo, and the character just
slowly
disappeared.
the black little part just comes, and then it just bursts into flame right over his visage.
We gotta reset the clock, guys. We gotta reset the clock.
We gotta go back. No, but that was everybody that was in Akatsuki Dawn, to my knowledge. I don't remember if we had any additionals.
It got a little
because I remember
cluttered as time went on.
But I always kept it defaults. We had defaults, and then we had I think we had replacements. And then we did have an opening for OCs that wanted to be a part of Akatsuki.
Right.
And
that was very brief.
That was brief because fucking nobody really wanted to do it. And it was like, what's the point if you're not gonna fucking do it, you know?
Because the main Akatsuki members were the head honchos.
Exactly. We were the big dicks. And the point is, right, so Akatsuki Dawn was founded by me, multiple me's, and eventually in like
by me, and me.
I'm pretty sure it was like literally maybe a 3 to 4 month period where everybody kind of got recruited, because I was not all those characters for very long. I was all those characters for like a month, and then after that, people just started flooding in. And the thing about the group was, there wasn't that many people in the group. There was maybe like 30 or 40.
Yeah, it was actually very condensed. Like,
it was very condensed.
We mostly kept to ourselves. Because I
Yeah,
remember we had like just one particular forum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had
group
an OOC.
It was just like a long fucking meeting. And we would just interact with each other.
It was fucking can't remember. I think it was called like The Beginning or something like that. It was some weird chapter 1, like stupid shit like that I put the title as.
So it was basically just all of us fucking.
It was literally a meeting where Payne calls a meeting and everybody joins the meeting, and then we would just shoot the shit. It was just like a basic ass role play. And then
sometimes it would get silly, sometimes it gets serious, but
the silly shit.
It was like a hangout spot.
The silly shit happened in the OOC. Remember the OOC? Because before we even like started fucking with people and got a bunch of attention, the OOC was like at 1,000 posts, and we would just talk to each other through there every single day, because we had no concept that people. MSN and AIM existed, right? So we would literally post Skype. On this forum, and Skype. The Skype came later, and we would post on this forum and talk to each other. And since it was the out of character form, it was you talking out of character.
You talking with yourself.
That happened for like the first 3 posts. I literally said something. So I said something else, and then I said "fuck you." I'm pretty sure. I said literally like 3 things, and it was just like the quickest conversation with myself ever. And then after that, it was just.
But yeah, after that, it was just talking. Everybody. It was basically just a group of friends fucking hanging out.
It was a group of friends, but it was very important to remember that we had one purpose in mind. And I remember I expressed this purpose to everybody.
To catch the Jinchuriki.
Fuck these T1E bitches.
No, you never brought that up. It was just, hey guys, let's just do what the Akatsuki did.
Yeah. That was the initial thing, is that because I thought it would be fun if we like found
if we just did what the
who would want to roleplay getting fucking murdered and having your soul sucked out of you in a non-fun way.
Also, at the time,
very limited number of people were role-playing those Jinchuriki, and we didn't know who they were.
And some of them weren't
some of them
revealed at that point.
Yeah, so you had to find a fucking OC.
Right, and then we just settled for finding OC Genie. Yeah. And then at some point, we just settled for finding somebody who fucking was Jinchuriki-like.
I think we literally only caught one. And it was fucking Gara. That was the only one that we caught. And I'm pretty sure it was Dylan. Because I remember Dylan legit just like messaged me one day and was like, yo, dude, I got a 2-tail or whatever. Or a 1-tail. And I was like, a fucking what? And he's like, dude, I got the thing. Like, what thing? He's like, I caught a Gara. And I was like, a Gara? And I was like, do you have proof that you caught it? And he showed me, and it was like some other fucking roleplay forum, and it was another group. It was like a Suna, the land of the sand, motherfucker. Right. It was there, and he like posted there and fought a Gara, and the Gara was very bad. Like, I'm talking like 2 to 3 sentences, and it almost seemed like he was into it for like some kink stuff, because he was like, Ah, I'm hurt. Oh my god. Oh, he broke through my sand wall. How? Fuck. Oh my god, Daedara, stop it. Like it was really weird, right? But he fully role plays Daedara just bringing this Gar to our fucking meeting area and was like, "I did it, motherfuckers! I proved myself. Get fucked. I'm better than all you." And I was just like, "Yeah, we're not gonna do." I was like, "You find a Gar that actually gives a shit about them, and then we'll talk." And I remember that was the only fucking one that we ever had.
And we made a few attempts, but
We
it
did
would,
try.
it would usually fucking just devolve into like fucking.
Well, it was partially them not knowing their character, so they kind of made up their own abilities. But then it was also we had to fight them in a group, and we also had to fight them 2-on-1 most of the time, right? And it was kind of fucked up. And I'm pretty sure I made that a rule that you go one at a time. Don't fucking like double team them because that's not cool. Which I would later omit and say it doesn't fucking matter. But it doesn't matter. But the whole point is I'd be like, oh, go one at a time. But the problem is you go into a group and they're all these fucking touchy feely hero types. You're gonna get like 3 different OCs that fucking Superman land in between you and block your attack and be like, time to defend the Cherokee. And you're just like, dude, this is a fucking closed event, man. You can't just jump in. And most of the time, I remember because it was it was kind of the same group. It was like a Naruto that would like insert himself into every fight. Like at the pinnacle moment where it would tip, he would slam in like a hero and deflect shit. And we'd just be like, that's not how you fucking do that. You kind of have to intro before you fucking enter.
But yeah,
know?
around this time is like when we were like,
That's where
hey, let's join tournaments and fucking.
Yeah, that's where we started doing the branching out a little bit.
Yeah, we
right?
started actually going around and fucking like, hey, invading.
And invasions don't usually work the way you would think, right? Because a lot of the time you think, okay, we're all role playing here, right? This is all make believe. None of this really matters. We're the bad guys, you guys are the good guys, right? So we're going to invade your group. And most of the time,
At first, it started out with just barging in, making posts, just like, hey, you're here. We're Akatsuki. Get used to it.
yeah,
But
we would wave our flag and kick down the doors and spray the air horns.
Yeah, it was just like, hey guys, this is an invasion. You're fucked.
Yeah, it would literally be the duos would post in their sections, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it would be like we'd figure out the layout of wherever the fuck it was, and we would separate ourselves. The duos would post, and we would all post. Literally, we would time it like 3, 2, 1. So everybody posted once. So when they go to their group next, there's like invasion 6 posts, and it's all the Akatsuki already posted with their intros, just waiting for people to come. And most of the time, what would happen is the leader of the group would do one of 2 things. I'll say one of 3 things in the rare case, right? One of 2 things. One, your post would be deleted and you would be blocked from the group. 2, they would comment on your post and say, we're not doing this. And that was it. And then delete your post. And 3, they would actually reply.
Very rarely.
Very, very rarely.
You would get a response. And
Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, continue.
Sometimes you're just not really ready for the clusterfuck that is actual interaction.
Yeah.
With somebody
who just doesn't, who's still relatively new.
It was an interaction with people who weren't on the same page.
They weren't even in the same book, to be fair, because a lot of times your interactions would be with OCs.
Because we had set up our character. Well, we didn't set up our character, but we set up
rules.
A rule / ideology. Around roleplay fighting.
I made it up.
And,
just saying.
And essentially, we played on this sense of fairness.
Right.
Because in our minds, we established that, hey, you do something, and I do something. We look at the logic of this and like we work it out in this time frame and
if
all
it
that.
doesn't make sense logically, then we have to figure something out. Usually, we went under the rule of if somebody's in motion of doing something, you are not obligated to remain perfectly still. Right. Which is what a lot of roleplay was turn-based. It was literally turn-based in the sense of if they post something, you can't move until they've finished doing whatever they were doing. Even if that was them fucking doing 30 hand signs and then jumping in the air and spinning, you had to stand still and watch them.
Unless they put a time frame within their post in which you could. But it became, look, it was very messy.
Yes. But people would say that you manipulated the timeline.
Right.
If you responded to things they did before something else happened.
But unless it made common sense. But that there lies the problem. My common sense isn't the same as someone else's common sense.
Then why is it called common sense? Ha! Gotcha, bitch.
All right, basically, went into these fucking things and people weren't on the same page.
They weren't in the same book. Come on, I already said this.
But, they weren't there roleplay fight.
Okay, so just a brief imagining of what we're talking about, right? Let's say hypothetically Kasame shows up to this village, right? He walks up to the edge, and there's one other part that I forgot to mention that sometimes happens, is they'll be like, oh, before you get to our village, you have to go through these fucking various traps that we've set up. Also, there's a spiritual dome around our village that can withstand a nuke, so you can go ahead and try and get through that, but you can't, so... There would be a lot of those. But the point is, like, Kasame walks into this village, right? And then you get this other guy. Okay, and the majority of his post is, I'm here to fucking kill people. This sucks. I'm bored. Whatever. That's the gist of his post. And that's where it ends, right? Is Kasame is in the village.
To be fair, that's the gist of everybody's post.
Pretty much. Your presence is known because you're waiting for the other person to respond to you. And, like, notice your presence and then make their character known to your character.
We went in there to fight
exactly
with people.
Yes.
And most of the time they went in there to just role play. You know what I mean? Like
I think I disagree because here's what I remember. Same shows up and then fucking out of nowhere you have this Chunin that literally runs at you and says that he kicks you into a building. And then pulls out his fucking kunai and is like, not on my watch, Akatsuki Kasame. I'm aware of everything you've done in your villages in the mist. I've learned all of your text. And you're just like, who the fuck are you? Like, what is this?
I do remember somebody doing that.
Yeah, like, that's the only downside of the canon character was people would be like, so it's you, Pain. And I'm like, yo, nobody knows who the fuck I am, bro.
No, I remember somebody doing that. And I remember my reply was just, I saw him coming and I just fucking swung my sword down.
Good times.
And they would be like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's a fucking heavy ass sword. It's coming down with momentum. What you gonna do?
I mean, you did come right at me, to be fair. So. And apparently we're best friends. We know each other, so this is an emotional moment for me. But yeah, that's a lot of what would happen in those situations where we tried.
There would be so many situations where it's like, I go in and I punch Kasame, and it'll probably send him flying through a mountain.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
what if
I'm Kasame, so I naturally just stand there and I take this punch and I wonder what the fuck is going on as I reach out and fucking crush their skull. I'm fucking Kasame.
That was super edgy. That was very edgy, Ray.
No,
oh
but
my God.
You know what the point is.
No, yeah. I get it. The only thing is, I understand that a lot of OCs might base their characters literally off of Rock Lee without weights, and they're like, "Oh, that's the base. Yeah, I can do that. That's normal." Or Sakura, and their fucking weird punching power, and they're just like, "I'm gonna punch you and send you flying," and you're just like, "Okay, hold on. What's your character and what are your abilities?
What's your use?
Like, literally, all that you have to explain. For example, if you were gonna punch Kisame with fucking a chakra-infused fist, you would say that your fist is infused with chakra, right? And that is the leading thing that causes Kisame to fly off. But you got to remember, if he blocks with his sword, it kind of just eliminates everything because the sword eats chakra, so it wouldn't have the same effect.
Right.
That's just a weird mental back and forth you have to do when you're fucking role playing with somebody that might not understand what the fuck
You're
they're
playing
doing.
mental chess with someone, and sometimes they flip the board and go, "No,
You.
this is yeah, no, this is actually Uno reverse card."
What was I doing? Oh yeah, I have an Uno reverse card
my
in my
fucking
wallet.
God.
That's what the pause is. All right.
But basically, my point is that you got it's just two games. You're playing chess, they're playing checkers, blah blah blah.
Right, like I've always said, there's two different things in role play, and there's actually role playing, and then there's role play fighting, which are two complete. One's a dick measuring contest, and the other one usually is just people trying to cyber with each other. That's literally it. You're fucking or you're fighting. Those are the only two. At least that's what it divulged into in our gamesphere of life, right? Pretty much everyone. Anyway, okay, so what happened after this brief stint of us like going from group to group, fucking around with people, right? Is we drew a lot of attention to ourselves.
Yeah, at some
like
point,
a bad way.
Yeah, at some point.
I know who the first one was.
But okay, look. So basically, went around. We interacted with a lot of people. Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
We strictly stayed in the Naruto verse, though, right?
Yeah,
Naruto had groups.
Strictly Naruto.
And there were other groups that were OC groups, but we didn't fuck with the OC groups. We only fucked with the Naruto groups. Mm-hmm. So.
But we just interacted with a lot of people. Some was good, some was bad, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Some point.
We pissed somebody off.
We just became infamous.
I think it's because we pissed somebody off. That's what I think. I think that's what happened. Because, okay, I remember the first two. We had Brawly. And then we had Morris.
I don't think Broly interacted with us. Wow.
No, Broly was the first one that came through. Yeah, he was the first one. And I remember it because we're like, dude, we're not going to fight you.
Right, okay, no.
Yeah, because he literally...
This Broly...
I remember, because he literally blew up the planet. He blew up the fucking planet. He said that he landed on the planet and, like, exploded it, and then was like, come out and face me, Akatsuki Don. And I just, like, was like, dude, you literally just blew up the planet. We're not going to fight you.
I distinctly remember his pose. Extremely edgy.
Yeah.
Fucking just... He showed up.
Right, he blew up the planet and then he killed the village.
Yeah, he just showed up at a village and started eating children.
Yep, he ate children.
Killing innocent people.
Yep.
Just
this is just a random village, by the way. This is a random fucking village.
Onslaught fucking.
So this is in his intro, right? This is his he comes to our group, makes a new form. And this is his introduction, and the title was literally something like, I'm going to kill you, Akatsuki Don, or prepare for war, or something like that, right?
Right.
And his introduction consisted of, he flew to the planet, exploded it, then started killing a village while, like, trying to get us to come out.
Right.
But here's the thing.
And I remember fucking...
Wait, did I reply to that with like some random shit? I feel like
remember.
Did I reply to it as hologram pain and I literally said, "Oh, there's people dying in a village." Anyway.
Yeah, something like that, but I also remember he went into the OC. Yeah. It's like, guys, I posted. I remember fucking just literally posting like, dude, you're a DBZ character. And he's like, yeah, and I try to explain to him the power levels are infinitely fucking just
Yeah.
apart.
They can blow up planets.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's playing like one of the most bullshit fucking characters.
One of the strongest characters.
DBZ.
At least at the time.
At the time.
Right? Yeah.
And fucking... This dude was like... very... mug?
Oh, cocky. He was very arrogant.
Yeah, he was very, like super arrogant and would fucking like...
Because he would reply in all caps.
Yeah.
All the time. And his post was in all caps too. I remember that because it pissed me off reading it.
And I remember he's one of those fucking people that like constantly insults you.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you fucking get annoyed, it's just like, bro, I'm just trolling. Because I remember that's his thing. That he'd just fucking show up.
Yeah, his character was a troll.
Yeah, he'd insult you. And then it's just like, lol, lamau. Just messing around.
The point was that guy, well, he would never say he was messing around. He would just be like, why mad? You mad, bro?
Yeah,
XD, XD, XD. Yeah, it was shit like that. So it was kind of like a trolly character, but he was attacking. And the thing that we criticized out of everything, right? We ignored the fact that he blew up the planet, okay? Right. But the point is, he was trying to get our characters, who are this spread out group of Akatsuki members all throughout the ninja world. He was trying to get our attention by killing a random village.
Right.
And we were just like, there's no reason for us to be here.
Brought that up, and I think his response was literally, I don't read Naruto.
Yeah, it was something like that, because he didn't understand that we were the bad guys. Like, we're not going to come, we're just not going to do anything.
His response was just that he doesn't read Naruto and that we're pussies.
Yeah, that was essentially it. And that was the bad interaction, right?
Right.
But then following that, because I remember we didn't ban him or anything, but it got to a point where he started spamming stuff in our group. Yeah. Because he spammed like gay porn or something like that. I remember that. He started doing that, so I just banned him from the group because I was just like, I just don't want to fucking deal with you. You're a weirdo. Right. Banned him. But for some reason, him coming to our group like opened this floodgate of other people coming to our group and doing the same fucking thing.
Around that time, there was a bit of infamy where like fucking we'd go someplace and people would recognize us.
But this is the beginning,
right? This is the beginning of people coming to us.
But the coming to us is really where it started, because I had not fucked with the OCs for the longest. I just never did, right? I still held that grudge against T1E, which is something in my group that I made part of the rule, is that we didn't use T1.
To be fair,
it was not part of our group.
Nobody fucking knew about your grudge. I definitely didn't. Yeah. And fucking all I thought it was just like you said no T1 posting or anything like that, and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it's stupid.
No, yeah, that was the point. Is that I didn't know I knew what T1E was, but then once T1 started to get introduced in like fights and stuff, I read it, because T1 is literally these rules that were made by.
There was a website for it too.
It was a forum. It was on a forum, yeah. And it was made by these 3 people. One of them would become known as one of the most annoying fucking role players on the planet in the history of forever that we've ever encountered. Shinrei, all right? Or fuck Shinrei. But it was made by 2 other people. One was named like Dark Wolf or some shit like that. And the third one was probably the guy that you fucking knew or whatever. But the point is, these rules were what turned roleplay into like turn-based role-playing, which is the thing that I said was stupid, because it said, if you throw something at somebody.
There was a lot.
There was a lot of really dumb mechanics.
Yeah, it
was dumb mechanics, and there was different types of it. There was T1,
T1A,
T1, and there's T1 realism, T1R.
Yeah, fucking.
It was overcomplicated.
And each fucking version of it had its own fucking set of rules, and like a fucking essay's worth of fucking just bullet points and rules,
and you'd have to list your abilities and then apply a fucking point system to them.
And there was a point system.
And if you had
a fucking bust out math at some point.
If you had a 0.1 or a 1-point charge post and someone else had a 2-point charge post, theirs would always win no matter what. What people could cheese it by literally just charging and doing nothing else, and they would have like 8 charges by just avoiding whatever the fuck you're doing, and you just insta kill them. It's just,
they took inspiration from fucking like a bad version of D&D.
They took inspiration from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh and fucking just dumb card games. And the point is, it was really bad, and I didn't like it, so I didn't want us to use it. So I specifically put in our group little forum beneath our edgy quote was that we do not use T1E.
And nobody fucking read it.
Yeah, they didn't read it because they thought it meant that we were T1. I was like, that's the opposite. But we would say you can't use T1 here. We use logic and reasoning. If you have a disagreement, just figure it out of character. And we applied the 7-day rule, which is if you don't reply after 7 days, whatever attack is in motion hits you, and that's it. Whether it kills you or not is up to the 7-day rule. So we had that, and everybody that came to our group was pretty much suckling at the teat of T1, which was pretty feisty, in my opinion. But after Brawly got fucking shit canned, he still popped up again.
Oh yeah,
he popped up Pikachu. He popped up as Pikachu. He
popped up as level 99 Pikachu.
He popped up as level 99.
By the way, also completely fucking despairing fucking power levels.
I don't fucking know Pokemon, dude.
I know Pokemon and fucking like
all I thought was it's bullshit. A Pikachu. That's all that, because I remember he fought Kakazu and he killed him. He killed Kakazu because he used some fucking OP ass infinite lightning.
Fucking stupid.
They were just right next to each other, and he just went Pika Pee and exploded.
He literally summoned a massive fucking thunderstorm and fucking rained down mountain destroying thunderbolts and fucking all this bullshit.
I remember that Kakazu really tried to like get out of that though, because and I don't remember, maybe he did, but I just remember that was a thing, and I remember seeing that in my group, and I was like, this is the lowest it will ever be. A fucking Pikachu is attacking my group, and I wasn't.
And once again, he would just fucking pop up in the OC.
Yeah,
and
then he
be a complete fucking douche nozzle.
Do dumb shit, and probably eventually. I don't think I ever banned him, but he just stopped.
No, at that point, it's kind of like him.
Yeah, we just kind of ignored him. Yeah. I think I told Kakazu to just stop posting and just fucking ignore it, and people said that he killed you then.
And he kind of just went off on his own.
Yeah, because that was also one of our things, was that if one of our defaults died, I would replace them, and it would become canon. I remember that. Because if anybody died in a fight, because my whole thing was that I wanted us to just never lose a fight. So if anybody lost a fight and died, I would kick them from the group, and that character would be dead in the canon, which is hilarious. For how long it went on. Then after weird Pikachu happened, Dragon God Morris came. And this was the beginning of literally all the shit happening. I remember this because I remember he fought me. And he fought me with the fucking I was Sasori. And he fought me as fucking I was Corpse Composer, and he was this weird OC that controlled dragons and lightnings and storms.
I just remember his the pictures that he used was just like overly muscular,
like
fucking
long red hair and fucking spikes and shit coming out of it. And this guy just posts this weird thing and whatever. I remember I did something very stupid. I literally, because this was right around the time Sasori had been revealed to use poison, right? And I shot his stupid little arm thing, right, at him. And I made the needles rain everywhere. And Dragon God Morris, this means nothing to me. And like he gets hit by it and pulls it out, and then like goes all arrogante and shit, like he's stronger than it. I was like, dude, those are coated in poison. You know that, right? And he's like, no, they're not. You didn't describe that. I was like, yes, I did. It's in the opening. That's part of the shit that he has. And he's like, well, you didn't describe it. Like, it's part of the character. What do you mean? It's like all of his stuff you've read Naruto. You know that this character, eventually, what happened was I one posted him, but he refused to accept it.
Honestly, that's a running theme.
Yeah, that became a running thing as we started branching out into the OC world.
Right.
People refuse to accept when they die. So this guy literally gets hit by like poison that drops
sometimes
people.
not even fucking people accepting when they die. It's more like you post something, they post something, you point something out.
Yeah,
it just evolves into fucking two gorillas fucking beating their fucking chest.
Yeah, and people don't like being told they're wrong.
Right.
And people don't like being corrected, and they also don't like being called out in public. Somebody's a lot more likely to like accept it if you're messaging them.
It just became a fucking clusterfuck of drama.
Right. That's what it devolved into. But this guy, again, refused to accept that he was dead. But, you know, he took needles that were covered in paralytic poison. So I was just like, okay, well, I mean, then if he's like, I'm not going to fight you anymore. I was like, okay, well, I mean, you got hit by the poison. So, so you're going to be dead then, is what I did. I literally, because the follow-up post I made after he was like, I refuse to fight you guys and like left. The follow-up post I made of Sasori was literally turning him into a human puppet. And I made him one of the puppets that I used from then on. And it was literally like my most useless puppet. I would call it like a douchebag puppet or something. I was very mean with what I put there, but I basically made this huge post turning him into a puppet. And that is what opened gate for War, DKA, Avalon. Those are the three that opened the gates.
Around this time,
because that got around that I did that to Morris.
Around this time, OCs were becoming a lot more popular, and we just kept getting fucking invaded or shit talked by fucking.
I remember that it was Morris called a judge. He called in a judge, and it was one of his friends. Right? His judge was
another running theme,
right? So fights in the roleplay world eventually devolved into, if you're arguing nonstop, you get a third party to come and read both posts and say what they think, and you would just take that.
Nobody established who that third party should be.
They just fucking would usually call their friend, and then their friend would come over and be like, I agree with him.
Here's the thing. It was a very tight-knit community.
There was groups, yeah. There was like subsets. Yeah.
But the attention we were getting was definitely from a tight-knit community.
That was not very welcoming to us in any way, shape, or form. So the whole point is, Morris tried to get this judge to come in, right. And I was like, because it was a judge from War. I remember that. That's how we got introduced to War. And I literally...
I remember you're like, fine, then I'm going to get a judge myself.
And I was like, hold on, let me get a judge real quick.
Pain. And it's just like fucking, you put on a fucking fake mustache.
Exactly what happened. Yeah, I was like, why don't we just let the leader of the group decide? I'm the leader of the group, right? And literally what I said is like, Sasori's poison is canon. What do you want to do? And the judge was like, actually, if you don't detail it perfectly in your post that each needle was covered in poison, then it can be assumed that some needles weren't covered in poison. And I was like, all right, we're not going to argue.
They would always bring up
the
T1.
Amount of... Yeah, they would bring up T1, and that you would have to detail everything.
Yeah, they would always bring up T1 rules.
Detailing things, I get, if you're an OC. But if you're a canon character... You can assume that they just have shit in the canon. And if they bring something out of the canon, like, then you kind of question it. Unless it's game breaking.
It's up to them to prove that character would have that.
That's plausible, right? It's just like, you can't just like have Kasame randomly use an Earth Jutsu and be like, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, 100% you should call bullshit on it.
Yeah, you call bullshit on when canon people use weird shit, but you also call bullshit when OCs don't describe their shit and then claim that it was a part of their post. So anyway... That fell through, and what came from that was we got attention from War, because one of the first fights that we had was War, and it was a very brief one, very very brief skirmish, and what came from that little interaction was we quickly realized there's no fucking way that we can fight these OCs. Like, it was becoming exceedingly difficult to find a reasonable power level between two characters. Like if one can fucking move a mountain with their mind and the other one can summon like a shark, it's really hard to like have an even fighting ground. And that is where you and me specifically, it was you and me, we made it two brothers, two brothers. Do you remember the two brothers? The two brothers.
Yeah.
The two brothers. It was Conten, right? It was the original Conten and Isno.
At this point, there was no basis. It was just
it was
two
just
brothers.
these were,
and we were.
I remember the story. You remember the story? They were a part of a clan, and it like got fucking wiped out, and they were the only two left. They were part of a clan, two brothers, and then they like got exiled from the clan after it got slaughtered or something bad happened because it was linked to like almost Satanism because Isno had the Spear of Destiny. I remember that. And that was literally just it. Isno had the Spear of Destiny and he also had 7 different personalities. I remember that. And it was because of the Spear of Destiny that he had the 7 different personalities. And that was literally just an excuse for me to use different colors of fire. Because his main ability was fire.
Yeah, and you had your phase.
I wanted him to have fire, and I wanted the color of the fire.
You had your German phase.
Shut the fuck up, man. All right? Rammstein was cool. I wanted him to have different colors of fire that represented different abilities, right? Like his blue fire was the hottest. His black fire could never distinguish or whatever. His red fire was like, I don't remember, gas or something. Like it was weird shit like that. But I just wanted to use different colors of fire was the whole point. He would use fire and a spear. What was yours?
I can say it.
Dude, this is the beginning of the thing.
Okay. And I made my character fucking undead. Because I remember fucking I would always just show up in a coffin and my character would just fucking burst out of it.
With chains on it.
A la Reaper from Overwatch.
Did it have chains on it?
Yeah. And I remember sometimes my character would use it as a weapon. And also, at this point in time, I like super minimalistic. Because I remember I would either rely on just pure physical strength. Because we tried to fucking, even though we were making OCs, we always tried to fucking have a sense of fucking fairness. Because I was like, hey, if I'm going to have like an ultra amazing power, I want to have counterpoint. So I remember your character made fires, but physically fragile.
Oh yeah, I would get burned from the fire or something like that. Like I couldn't withstand the flames, which is kind of fucking. I forgot about that because now that I think about it, the character was basically Dobby from fucking. But this was like 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It was way different. But yeah, my character couldn't withstand the fire, so I didn't use it that much. I literally just used the spear.
Yeah, and then fucking
because the spear could extend like a little bit and change form, so I made it turn into a sword sometimes. I would just use it as a sword.
Fucking, I made my character just extremely physically strong and just a pure berserker.
Oh yeah, I remember the berserker.
And fucking literally just fucking. I was like, you know what? Super strength.
I thought you also had a
I did.
Gunganir.
No, that's
later.
Yeah, it's way later. But fucking,
you had a weapon though.
Is the coffin?
Was it the coffin?
I would just swing the coffin around with the chains.
I didn't know that you had the coffin. I thought you had something else.
No, it was the coffin.
You didn't have a sword?
No.
I feel like I might have called you out on that. Like, why don't you have a fucking weapon?
Yeah, you would always call me out on shit like that. And fucking, I just remember, I was like, I want to use a coffin.
I want to use a coffin, he says.
And hey, guilty gear. Don't worry about it. But fucking...
You sure you didn't have a chainsaw sword?
No, that was later.
Fuck.
That was later.
I swear I remember a chainsaw sword.
That was later because I found a picture of a character who chainsaw sword now.
Yeah.
But at this point, coffin with chains, super strength, And I remember a bit later on, I would also introduce fucking like melting blood.
Yeah.
But before then, it was just super strength, and I literally fucking used like the Hulk move set, where I'd fucking like scream so fucking
Oh
loudly
yeah.
that fucking it would cause vibrations in the
Yeah.
air, and fucking like clap my hand, fucking make
Oh, I remember that.
shit.
Yeah, fucking that was weird. That was
Yeah,
just weird. I just don't. That was literally the beginning phase of those characters, though.
yeah.
Because I remember
That was the
that didn't
prototypes.
last very long.
Yeah, that was the prototype.
That was like
but
maybe 2 weeks.
those prototypes went into the war,
Oh,
the first major war.
they went to the first war, not the one with war. No, they went into the Avalon one. That was evolving, right? So first there was we made these characters to counter all of these other characters.
There's no
We literally put them as a part of Akatsuki that were original characters.
like they weren't part of the Akatsuki.
They
but
weren't in
were,
the same verse. They were original characters.
Yeah, they were just original characters to deal with the fucking influx of fucking like bullshit.
Anytime we had some weirdo that came in with fucking weird powers, we would
because
use the OCs.
we were getting fucking people from fucking outer space and all this shit.
And then this was around the same time we started getting Final Fantasy characters. Like a cloud came through, and we're just like, this guy's throwing materia left and right. I don't know what this is. So we literally created these characters just to combat this. Right. But what happened was
somehow our infamy got even fucking
listen. What happened? Do you remember? Is fucking Devi, right? Devi she was our Conan at the time. She made an OC, and her OC.
And everybody else.
she asked if she could be a part of our verse or whatever. And the reason I said yes was because she could edit good photos. So I asked her to edit the photos. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, fucking edit us a photo and you're in the group. And she made it was Grimjow, Urukura, and Orihime or whatever. And it was the bright red scheme. Remember? Literally that became like the color of our family group or whatever. Yeah. Was just this obnoxious red that was disgusting. It was fucking so cringe. So she makes a character and she's a part of our group. And then fucking Dylan wanted to make a character that was part of our group, and we're like, you know what, fucking fine. And
at that point, we were like, you know what, we might as well just make another fucking.
Yeah, we might as well make another group. Yeah. And I don't remember what it was. I think it was a manga that you showed me, the Dogs, Bullets, and Carnage. It was that manga, and I remember there was that one part where because Devi's the one that showed me. It wasn't you. Devi showed me that. And then she started editing us photos from that. And there was one where it was the dude and his like best friend. And the guy says, Requiem for a Dream. That one will make you cry, man. Remember? Probably don't.
I remember.
Yeah, so that's where we came up with the name Requiem for the group. Requiem became the name for the group. And then we used Noctis as the last name. Because this was right when the trailer Final Fantasy 15 came out, the first one, and it was revealed that his name was Noctis Lucius Callum or some shit like that, and we found out that Noctis meant like of the night or something, and we were like, oh, we'll just use that as the last name. It'll be our last name will be the Noctis. So the Noctis became a thing. Our characters changed because there was like a brief period.
Not
Mine changed significantly. I took away the 7 personalities.
Right.
And I created it. I made it a hive mind instead. And I also gave him tentacles.
But at this point, like, still wasn't like.
It was still kind of out there.
Yeah, it was.
I still had the Spear of Destiny. It was still kind of weird.
Still brothers.
Yeah. So the first thing that we did was, since we were OCs, and we didn't really have a tie, that we didn't have that much tie to Akatsuki, and nobody really knew that we were these characters. We like straight up tried to attack this group called Avalon, and what came from that was a bunch of out of character what preceded that was out of character interactions.
Mistake.
It was fucking hilarious.
I regret it.
It was amazing.
There's a lot of things I regret.
Avalon was led by these 2 titular people. The first one, his name was Demise. Demise Avalon was
an interesting man.
He was an interesting guy, I guess, but also a total simp, right? Like hardcore simp.
He was a simp before simp became a thing.
Right. So what you got to remember is the Avalon.
Well, he wasn't. He was a white knight.
Got to. So, the Avalon Kingdom, as it was called.
Actually, I think he ironically
was.
He
was a white knight, but he had purple hair, so it's different. But the Avalon Kingdom was this group of just like these OCs that were all obsessed with Lady J, who is the other titular character here. Lady J was their leader. And from what we understand, a middle to late aged woman with like 3 kids, cancer.
Let's not get into
No, we're getting into the personal shit. So this chick was the epitome of a victim complex. Like, this person could lie about everything, and everyone in her group would believe it without a shadow of a doubt. And their proof of it was literally, she told me herself, man, it was private. That was their proof. So listen, hold on. We're not going to bring up your part. Don't worry about that. I'm just saying
it was more like it was once again another tight-knit fucking community.
This was that group of like fucking scene kids in your high school or junior high that would bark at each other.
It was definitely a high school fucking drama thing.
Yeah.
Like, literally fucking just a smorgasbord of fucking random ass fucking people who fucking just acted like fucking teenagers.
Yep. I mean, they probably were. Well, some of them were for sure, but some of them were also.
But it was very like just,
again, Lady J was like 35. Is the important thing.
There's a lot of drama and shit like that. We didn't know.
We did not know
we were going to pop this fucking bubble.
We didn't think that a lot would come from this, because the reason we ended up attacking them, I remember,
just random, right?
It was partially random, but also partially because they were talking to me on Pain or something like that. And I remember I interacted with Lady J because she messaged me. She added me and messaged me and said some weird shit. She was asking for an alliance or something. And it was the weirdest fucking like interaction I've had with somebody. And this is in roleplay, when everybody's fucking cringe and stop fucking with that cord. And everybody's fucking cringe, right? And I don't remember what she said. But it wasn't even what she said. It's what she posted in a bulletin. Because as soon as she added me, I had access to all of her people. And I looked at some of her bulletins. And they were just like cult worship, right? Like everybody was like obsessed with her. And she would only talk about her real life and all this weird shit. And I was just confused. And so I was like, okay, fuck these guys. And then I looked at the group and I saw that they actually had like a couple role plays going on. So I was like, okay, maybe this
they were active.
And they had like a huge description of their group of how to attack it, what was around it, and all this other shit. So I was like, okay, this is great. We'll fucking attack these guys because fuck them. And they were allied with DKA and War at the time, right? They were allied with both of them. And I hated War because of the fucking judge guy. Petty, remember? So I was like, okay, we're going to attack these guys. And then I went on to fucking my Noctis profile, and I told everybody, I was like, yeah, we're going to go fight these guys. So, my character had slightly changed, like I said, because I had maybe one fight with it in our group, and I decided I didn't like the changing of personalities or whatever. So I added the hive mind, and I added tentacles inside myself that were part of Icar. Remember? This is how a whole fucking series started. Was I wanted to give myself Icar because I wanted an excuse for my character to be able to like go toe to toe with somebody else.
And I used that Icar to make my fucking melting blood thing.
So mine was literally a tendril monster inside, because I think this was around the time that I started playing Dead Space. And I was like, dude, that would be so cool if that was inside me.
Yeah.
But like, so yeah, not like that. But I mean, like, I was just like, okay, so my character literally had tendrils all throughout them, and the tendrils released methane. And I remember I didn't give myself a lot of firepower. I took the firepower away. I kept the black fire just because I like being edgy. But I literally had fire, tentacles, and methane. And my idea was that I could just blow myself up or fucking like blow up my tentacles or do something stupid like that. So that was my character.
You're very into fucking
explosions.
Yeah.
It was very. I had a phase.
Message you yourself.
It was a phase. It was a phase. So I remember because I was using Urukura as a base, and I was like, dude, why don't I just explode? That would be fucking awesome. Because then I have an excuse to use the edit of him like all burnt and shit, bro. Fuck yeah. So we get together our ragtag group of what, 3 or 4? I think 4 or 5. Noctis. Yeah, it was mostly members of the Akatsuki, Dawn, whatever, but they were on their Noctis characters. And the outlines for these characters was generally just don't be overpowered, usually have like one element that you can fight with, and you're really hard to kill. Those are the 3 things. Right? You're really hard to kill. So we go to this group, and they have these defense areas, the defense forums that you can post into.
Didn't we also bring in other people? I feel like it was like another group.
The first one was just us, and I think someone else attacked when we did.
Yeah.
But the one that lit the fire, because what happened immediately after, like, I remember I did it. But what happened immediately afterwards was just a shitstorm.
Nobody could foresee the fucking stupidity that would just
oozed. It was everywhere.
It was
great though. So we posted.
Right.
I remember you were with me, and somebody else, I think it was Devi, was with us. And we were on like the south side of the fucking kingdom or some shit. Mm-hmm. And the Avalons had this force field. This force field that only let people who didn't want to harm Avalon go through.
Right. Some
shit like that. And it was super fucking stupid. They had that. And it was like immune to damage. And it said it could withstand
basically
It was
couldn't
like
really
impossible.
Do anything.
It was impossible. And so the defenders would literally come through the field and then fight us like just outside of the field. Mm. Or what they would do, what I remember, is they posted from inside the fucking field. And we're just like, we can't get in. You gotta come out.
Yeah.
So
one of the funniest fucking things happened though.
Are you sure this is okay? I just don't want you to get confused because I remember there was something really funny that happened in another war with Avalon.
Speed thing.
Yeah, that was a different war. This first one was very quick because
it was a different one.
that was I remember that because that was at a wedding or something. But so the first war, you were with me. They were posted. They had like 3 defenders or something in our topic. And I was like, okay, you guys got to fight us. And what they told us OOC was Demise and Lady J, well, specifically Demise, posted in the OOC that, do you remember this? He said that Lady J is feeling very ill, and the stress from this attack is not helping her. So we're going to end this war so that she gets better. And there hadn't been a war yet. It was like we just posted and you're stressed, but nothing has happened. So literally, I remember I did this. I don't remember what you did, but I literally tried to kill all of us. Because I made Isno use his ability, he literally created like a miniature sun and slammed it into the barrier, trying to break it.
Yeah.
And what happened was I literally fucking almost killed myself, was the whole point. Because it was totally worth it, right? Because I slammed in, it exploded, and then my character was just done for the day. He couldn't fight. He was like literally melted from the fucking top down, just fucking pretty much dead.
I think I made a post like
taking me away.
Yeah. He just came up, grabbed you, and then just fucking walked away.
Like, well, time to leave. Yeah.
There's my brother.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that war. It was literally that.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't much going on.
Right.
It was just that one thing, and the only reason I did that,
unfortunately, that was the catalyst.
That was like a point where, okay, now people are aware of who we are,
Yeah.
and our group was literally where we posted most was in the Akatsuki Dawn. So all these other people started coming to this group, and what would happen is we would either fight them as the Naruto canon characters or the original characters. But from the evolution of this, right, we quickly found that it was kind of more fun to be an original character than to be like a limited Naruto character.
Yeah.
I still remember there were like 2 more instances in the Naruto group where I actually fought as a Naruto character, and it was later on once they actually revealed some of Pain's abilities. Because the advents. So what you got to remember about Lady J was it was literally short for Genova. She was literally a Genova. So what we did was we opened a fucking way canonically for all these fucking Sephiroths and Advents to just fucking.
There was a group
called
of just
Sephiroths called the Advents.
Fucking Sephiroth.
Just Sephiroth. And they would give themselves names like Sephiroth Oblivion, Sephiroth Reaver, Sephiroth 1 was 1. And then Sephiroth Prime. Sephiroth Prime.
A fucking world-destroying fucking
riding meteors through the fucking galaxy and shit. And so essentially what happened from us fucking with the Avalons was, I'm assuming that Lady J was just pure talking shit, right? Non-stop OOC, because immediately after this, Sephiroth Oblivion attacked our group, right? Saying that we had insulted Lady J. Or he specifically said Genova, right? But I was just like, who? What? Lady...
It was just random.
Because Lady J, her profile picture was this busty-ass chick that was, like, just stacked, right? It wasn't the character Genova.
Right.
But if you clicked on the profile and read it, it would literally say it's Genova. So she was, like, a branching off of the character, basically. So Oblivion attacked. And I fought him as Sasuke. And what started just a shitstorm of them now, right? is I remember I one posted him. And it was because he said that he sensed me or something like that. But I had said that there was a bunch of... he said he sensed life, specifically. And I had made, like, snakes everywhere, like, hidden. And then he, like, called out to me, and I just, like, did the teleport thing. Like, I literally teleported behind him and, like, stabbed him. And he just had he had no way to counter it. He's like, I sensed you. I was like, which one? Fucking, they were all over the place. And it started the fucking shitstorm because he was so mad about it. I was even like, okay, dude, you don't have to accept that you can just say that you turned and blocked it. I don't care. It's not a big deal. But he was so adamant that I had broken a rule by doing that. And it was the funniest shit.
Basically, it started a trend of somebody would come, they'd get pissed off, they'd probably shit talk about us to someone else. That person would come.
But the thing is, they kept coming. They just kept coming. It wasn't like...
Everybody just took a ticket and fucking walked in.
They kept going one after one, and it was the most confusing time, because obviously the Sephiroth Oblivion thing ended in bad faith. So the Advents hated our fucking guts because they assumed we were power gaming and fucking just assholes. Even though I literally said, you can just... I don't care. You can dodge it. You can block it. I don't give a fuck, but... You know, you're a bitch. You know, basically, I said, okay, well, do whatever you want. I don't care. You know, it was basically I was trying to get a fight out of it, right? But the problem was he like kind of ignored something.
Fight a Sephiroth.
Then Sephiroth Reaver attacked, And Sephiroth Reaver was actually like a really chill dude. And he directly attacked Amigakure, or whatever, the Rain Village, and straight up tried to fucking destroy me. Like, specifically just Pain. And we actually had a really good fight, because he killed like 2 of my bodies. It only got a little weird when he dropped a meteor on the fucking village. Like, dead ass, like, it was totally civil. Great fights. We exchanged. I cut him a bit. He cut me a bit. It was good back and forth. He was getting surprised by shit I was doing.
A gentlemanly duel until he
and then he just goes, and then he just drops a meteor. So I like literally just like fucking went away and watched my village go up in flames. It was just like, well, that sucks. And that was the end of the fight. But
well, yeah, he go another village and try again.
I don't know where my main body is.
Shit.
But that was
shit. Who's pushing the wheelchair?
That was actually slightly good for us, because a lot of people saw that fight and thought it was really, really good, and they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe these guys aren't that bad."
This is where your popularity rose.
Pretty much, yeah. There was a lot of I don't know what it is about the Pain thing, but people assume that I was unbeatable, and I guess it's because the way that I talked on Pain was totally different than Isno. Because on Isno, I would just be a fucking dick holster, right? I literally copy and pasted the way I acted like on Sasuke into fucking Isno, and I was just a cock to everybody. I was mean. But on Pain, I was just totally casual, whatever. I don't care. That was literally it. I would only go there on that profile to post if I absolutely needed it. I would go back and do dumb shit on the OC. Then I can't remember what came first. I think it was when War wanted an official war with us, and they made the group that was like the war grounds. And this was when we didn't use our, because a lot of characters in War were Naruto based, so we used Akatsuki characters. And
This is where
this is the one. This is the one. So we go to the war group or whatever. And, for the beginning, it was pretty civil. I will say that. It was very interesting. The fights were pretty much what you'd expect.
If there's any point, if we had an editor, this is the point where I'd be like, you know what? Start the boss music.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
If anybody is just miraculously fucking watching this, just have boss music playing in your fucking head.
Exactly. This is the important part, because this is where, so if you remember, War was led by a guy named Shinrei, who is also one of the founding people of T1, who like helped make the rules and shit. And let me just say this about this guy. He was definitely the top dog when everybody else was like in 5th grade, right? Like when you didn't know how to write or do, he still to this day, because I checked up on it before, he still has not improved writing at all. Like he still writes the same way he did like 10 years ago, which is just shit. He's just bad at writing. So anyway,
he's very creative though.
He's everybody always gives him credit for being like the greatest role player of all time.
Shit, I never fucking give him credit.
Literally, it was just Hellhound that ever really said that until recently, I think. But anyway, so the point is, Shinrei, with his group of ragtag, just weird fucking people.
Commandos.
And there was one gnome. The magical gnome. Because I killed her. The little dwarf gnome. She tried to use magic on us, and I Banshio Tennied her ass into like a spear. And she actually accepted her death, which is very, very weird. But I insta-killed her, and it was like the first engagement. And literally,
triggered
what? Yes,
the boss.
Yes. What happened was we were all fighting our own individual battles, right? And we like killed 2 of them very quickly. And that's when Shinrei whose
Decided
character
to pull out all the guns.
literally. So this character is okay. What you got to realize is
Shinrei
wait.
Uchiha.
Shinrei Uchiha, also very important. Like I said, Naruto characters. But so Shinrei Uchiha, his opening post is him. Listen, wait. Let me explain. He arrives in a ship. Okay, he arrives in a ship, and the
Not
way
just any ship.
the Shinrei ship. He arrives in the Shinrei ship.
But what is the Shinrei ship? What kind of vehicle is it?
Here's the important part to remember. In the first post, when he's describing the ship, he explains it has some chakra weapons on it.
What kind of vehicle?
It's a hovercraft. It's a spaceship. It was a spaceship.
It was a half spaceship, half blimp.
Is it a blimp?
Yes.
I don't remember.
I remember.
Was he sure
because
it was a
we
blimp?
fucking pointed it out. And he fucking said, "Oh yeah, if you
wait. Because this was described in the opening.
I know.
Described in the opening.
He pointed out a very obvious weakness for a blimp.
Yeah, you can shoot it.
But now you can.
Yeah, so basically when he's describing this vehicle that's a spacecraft / apparently hovercraft, whatever the fuck, blimp, he says that it's made of, it has chakra weapons on it, it can recharge everybody's chakras, it has healing tanks on it, so you can be insta-healed, and it has an array of weapons, it's got an AI on it that can fly itself. It's got a bunch of shit,
it's got
nano
robots.
machines. Yeah, okay, but he also said the metal on the ship was made out of a special chakra metal. And this is what I remember specifically because he said that it was almost impossible to break it with chakra. But a single bullet could destroy the whole thing.
Except it also had a force field.
It have a force field.
And not only that, I don't know if it was you or me.
I thought the force field only stopped like high moving objects. Wasn't it?
Oh
no, it was like an auto force field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was you or me who literally said, so if I just pulled out a handgun and shot at the blimp, it would just come crashing down. And he said yes. Except the bullet would be stopped by the force field.
Right.
And even if it went through the force, because I remember, again, I don't know if it was you or me, point out, okay, hypothetically, let's just say this bullet went through this barrier and it hit the blimp. In which I fucking remembered, you fucking replied, yeah, but then the bullet would bounce off. Because it's actually made from special chakra material.
So what's important to note is that this ship in the opening was strictly to transport everybody to this location. He was there. He got out of the ship on his fucking motorcycle, which Shinryu Uchiha riding a motorcycle, right? He's on the motorcycle. Canon. And he also has weird lightning abilities. Whatever. The point is, it wasn't until we started killing people that he does a 180 and goes right back to the ship. Only this time, when he's inside the ship, it's totally different. But I remember the main reason that he went back towards the ship was because Deidara, Dylan, had posted and was way up in the air, and he literally was creating the C3, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna drop this on the he was literally just like, okay, I'm gonna drop this on the ship. And Shinrei had no way of knowing Deidara was way up there, by the way, because he's literally riding a motorcycle.
Until later, where he points out that, oh yeah, there's a chakra radar.
Yeah, that thing. Whatever. The point is, this dude just like, obviously, he turns around because he wants to save the ship, right? And this in the roleplay world is pretty much known as like OOC, right?
Well, metagaming.
Yeah, it's metagaming. That's what it meant. It's metagaming because his character knows something that he shouldn't know, even though he's apparently neurolinked to the ship. So when the ship detects something, he knows it immediately.
Another special function, the Shinrei ship.
The infinite chakra.
No, a special armament.
Henry Cannon. What was it?
He had a nuke.
Oh yeah, he had the nuke. I forgot about that.
He had a fucking nuke on the fucking ship.
He had to snook up his sniz. No, but so Deidara's up there. As soon as Deidara posts, Shinri posts, turning his ass around, going back to the ship, and this was just like a beautiful moment for me because he dropped the bomb on the ship, right?
Right.
And then when Shinri posts, completely redescribing the ship. In the sense that all the original faults
Just a small upgrade.
were no longer there.
Just a small upgrade.
It literally withstood the blast.
He hit it with a wrench and
it was perfectly fine. It was the most obnoxious.
I remember because the barrier, in order for it not to be overpowered, the barrier only stopped high moving
Exactly.
object. Deidara dropped a slow moving big ass bomb.
Yeah. And then he said that he linked to it because he put his hands in it or some shit. And then he activated the force field manually. And it was like, okay. But then I remember, because this was still at the point where we were like, so a single bullet, huh? And we had one guy.
Out, even if the barrier stopped the explosion, the force, there should be enough physical force to push that shit down.
Yeah, it should take up a lot of the shield, basically, right? So Connie, remember this? Connie, on her Noctis character, had a sniper rifle. And that was like her whole character, was that she had the fucking the eye that could see really far, and that was it, right?
Yeah, she's just a sniper.
Yeah, she was a sniper character. So I literally was like, I remember messaging her, and I'm like,
Payne just slowly pulls out a radio, takes
just
a shot,
pulls out a fucking cell phone,
take the shot.
So we literally had this fucking character that was perched like, I don't know, half a mile away,
right?
Just with a sniper rifle, and we usually didn't want her actually shooting at characters because that's just fucking not fair. It's not fair, right? Because these dumbass OCs probably can't react to a bullet.
Well,
okay, yeah.
Until literally
all of them can is what I meant. But the whole point is, like, I thought it was a little unfair, and I didn't want to use guns on people.
Right.
But if we're using a gun to shoot at a ship that can be taken down by a single bullet, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right.
So, she fucking shoots one of her Requiem steel bullets at the ship. And the Requiem steel was something that I created specifically to combat people that said, my metal is stronger because it's made from this ultra-dimensional thing and you can't stop it. So the Requiem steel was just literally almost indestructible, right? That's pretty much it. It could be destructed. It was like super high temperatures, I think, is what I made the limit. She just shoots one of these bullets at this blimp. And just catastrophic fucking OOC meltdown. Just everybody was... Specifically Shinri was so fucking mad that we would just quote...
Because his response to that whole fucking... Our debate of like, hey, the explosion should have at the very least... caused your fucking shit to start fucking falling.
And it was...
And his response was, oh no, the barrier actually strong enough to withstand multiple nukes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's a nuke inside of the thing that we can fire out the Shinrei cannon.
Yeah.
And to literally just nuclear fucking apocalypse. But everybody inside the ship would be fine.
The funny thing was, though, it was just a ship. It wasn't even a character.
Yeah.
It was... Deidara just wanted to blow it up for fucking no reason, right? He just wanted to blow that up.
Well, no, as soon as he described the ship the first time,
Mm-hmm.
we all fucking knew that shit was...
Yeah, but the kind of the thing was they had to go back on the ship, right? And it had like cloning facilities on it too.
Like,
so obviously it was
bullshit.
It was a ship made so that they could mitigate anything bad that happens, right? Because if we kill somebody, they just bring them to the ship and they get revived. Right. So obviously it's like, let's blow up the ship, but this is like only a couple posts in. It's not at the point where we need to worry about it. But the fact that Shinri took so much shit,
it's funny too. Everybody stopped.
Everybody was
while we focused on that shit.
We're just like, what the fuck is going on?
And fucking that was it. It was us versus the fucking ship.
It was the ship, and it
wasn't Shinrei. It wasn't anybody in fucking. It was just that fucking ship.
It was Shinrei describing a new fucking thing for the ship every time somebody posted.
I wish I had,
because I remember then I did the fucking Shinra Tensei on it, and he said it still wouldn't work. And I was it's just a repulsing force.
I wish I had the ability to fucking create memes.
Oh, yeah, the Shinra ship was a meme.
It's
still a meme.
We fucking brought that shit up. I brought that shit up as much as I could.
Dylan never let that die. In any instance, he brought it up.
Also,
constantly.
We would make fun of him for it too.
Yeah, because he pretty much almost killed himself. I remember that because Kakazu had to save him. Because he literally, what the Shinrei argued was that he had reached terminal velocity while flying towards the ship and therefore could not pull up in time. The Kakazu was just like, oh, okay, I'll just grab him. He's like, you can't do that. That's not fair. And we're like, you just changed your whole ship scheme, bro. Kakazu's been standing there for 10 minutes.
At some point, Shinrei stopped being the main character and his ship.
Yeah.
Every time I fucking hear Shinrei, I just think of that ship.
So what it became, essentially, was anytime there was something super overpowered or whatever the fuck, we would call it the Shinrei ship, right? So the Shinrei ship literally became a meme, and that war turned into more arguing. Nothing got settled. And pretty much they left, and that was the end. The Shinrei ship will live on forever.
Shinrei ship will live in my heart. And I hope with my dying breath,
I wish.
I see the Shinrei ship coming across the horizon to carry me home, baby.
I wish Shinrei had gone down with his ship, for fuck's sake, dude. So... the Shinrei ship era was that. That was the Shinrei ship.
The fucking WWE had the Attitude Era. We had the fucking Shinrei ship era.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
I thought it was spelling.
No, it was still in my armpit. There was just... It was really funny to me, just because Shinrei was like... Listen. Shinrei was literally like considered... because nobody had ever seen him post before.
Oh yeah, everybody took him seriously.
They took him so seriously,
except for us,
right? And this is the first time I've ever seen this guy post, because everybody's like, dude, he'll one post you, dude, don't even fight him. He's legit scary, and I'm like, this is fucking right. What do you mean?
Fucking know who this dude was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were out of the loop, but I was fucking just...
To be fair, though, I was out of the loop for, everything.
Yeah,
You told me to do something, I was like, all right.
Yeah, but the point is, Shinrei, his reputation preceded him, right? And he did not live up to it. He did not live up to it.
That the real man behind him
was... Don't mention the fucking shit, dude. God. The point is... Shinrei created these rules that everybody uses all the time or whatever the fuck, and he would always boast about being undefeated and the greatest role player of all time. And in the end, yeah, I mean, we all know who it is, though. It's me.
It's Shinrei ship.
The point is that this was the height of everyone was telling us how good this guy was and how afraid we should be of this group war, which was wrath. It was wrath, anger, and like revenge.
Now that I fucking think about it, that's another fucking running theme of just like every phase is just be like, hey, you heard about this guy? This guy would show up.
And we would just kind of spit on him, is basically the way it went. But Shinrei was a special one for me because everyone sucked this dude's proverbial dick so hard. And when push came to shove, he scrambled to describe a ship that didn't even matter, wasn't even a part of the fight, just because he didn't want someone to blow it up. And we were just like,
you know how much money he poured into that?
yeah, allegedly, right? It was fucking confusing.
It was handcrafted.
Mahogany.
Just one beautiful mahogany desk.
But I remember that was the point where I just stopped. I mean, like, I never really took anybody that serious, but that was the point where I was just so disrespectful to anybody that was like a legend in roleplay, because in our little sphere of groups, we every now and then a new group would pop up, and they'd be like, "You haven't fucking seen shit till you see this guy," and it would just be the same thing. It would just be somebody totally out of touch, having no idea, and then complaining nonstop when they get caught in like a circle. Pause. And we're back, guys. What's going on? I'm gonna cut right there perfectly, so it just looks like. It'll be cool.
And check your wipe too.
All right, so we just finished the Shinrei arc. That was the arc of the Shinrei. What came next was, if I recall, there was the one big war where it was the Shinobis. The Divine Shinobis.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they were called. Divine Shinobis. The Divine Shinobis. Anyway, the Divine Shinobis reached out to me on Pain and wanted to do a truce. And then they wanted to like double attack something, okay? But here's the thing. They reached out to me wanting a truce. And I said, pretty much, I don't do truce. If you show up where I show up, we'll probably attack you, right? Was the gist of it. And I remember because we were planning this stupid invasion, and it was during a peace meeting between DKA, the Advents, Empire, which is a new guy, new kind of character introduced, was led by this guy named Lance Altian, who used his real name in his fucking character. So you already know he's kind of a cockholster. And he has his group, which was called Empire, and it was basically this big, almost like a circle jerk celebration, I guess, of all these big groups coming together and saying we're gonna work together. Coincidentally,
For peace.
excluding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it was described as them getting every major group.
Yeah. It was like the council or something.
Yeah, it was just every major fucking like group, like the biggest groups,
biggest warring groups, fighting groups, or whatever. And they left Akatsuki out of it, and they left Requiem out of it.
Yeah, because they fucking
hated us. Is my point, right? So we were already planning to attack these guys, and where it was held, I'm pretty sure it was held in DKA, because the DKA leader was a dude named Forzu, who was just such a fucking condescending asshole. He was like nice, but it was like it's fake, right? Like he'd be like, "Hey, what's going on, man? I wish you well," and I'd be like, "What the fuck does that mean, dude? You're shut the fuck up!" Like,
"Hey, man, I hope you're having a good day." What the fuck do you mean by that?
You. Pretty much no, but it was like really non-authentic kindness from this guy. It was obviously, and then you learn that if you talk to him long enough, because he's just an asshole, right? But he was hosting it in his group, DKA, Destroy, Kill, Annihilate, and the area was literally, it was this island, and it was surrounded by just a bunch of water and shit. I remember that. It was like an infinite ocean or shit. And they were having the council where they were talking about peace between all these groups and how they'd form the council. And literally, they kind of OOC'd this by saying that they would teach new role players how to enter the genre and father them. And I was just like, that's not in character. You literally just said role playing. That fuck you. I don't like you anymore. But the whole point, they had this group going on. All the members were there. They were posting, and they were like in dress gowns and like fucking sipping cocktails and shit. And it was so fucking dumb that I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for us to attack this group. This is the perfect opportunity. With Akatsuki Dawn and with the Noctis, I suited up, but I made people pick. And I had to go as one character, the other character. You couldn't go as both because I thought it was fucked up. So I remember specifically, I showed up there as Pain, right? And literally, it was like I almost copied the manga verbatim for when like Pain shows up to the leaf and he just like lands there, and then his 6 bodies are just right next to him, and he's just like gang motherfucker, you know? Like that's the way that it started. And the divine shinobis or whatever like took this as a sign that they should join me in the attack, even though I literally told them that, like, you know, if you show up, we're gonna fight you too, because we just don't do that, you know, whatever. And their leader was Madara, who severely overpowered at this point, and I just thought it was useless to even include him in a fight. But all of us posted. I'm pretty sure. I think you posted on content. I don't think you posted on Kisame. I don't remember. But the point is, this was also when the speed thing happened. So I think maybe you were on content, or was it?
No, I swear that was an.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I remember that.
No, that was an Avalon person. This was the peace meeting between all those groups.
No, I remember it. Because you were is no. Yeah.
No, this was no. It was Dylan.
Oh, was it Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan was the one, because I remember he asked me what he should do, and I literally told him, just hold out your sword.
I swear that was...
It wasn't. Avalon didn't let us post there anymore. They wouldn't allow wars in their group after we did that shit.
No, but
no,
it was the second war that it got weird. Right?
No, this was the war that it got weird. Yeah, this was the war where the Raziel thing happened, and it was just a clusterfuck. And this was when all the major groups basically said that we were fucking cocks. This is it. So what I remember is literally Dylan was like the only one that posted as his Noctis, and we thought that was fucking weird, but we were just like, whatever, because he was just adamant about using his Noctis,
and he was flying
because he was using and he was using water abilities or whatever, right? So he's like, oh, we're in the water, I'm gonna use the water ability. Like, whatever, fucking, I don't give a shit, just whatever. He was flying, and he got attacked by a speed character from Avalon. That was from Avalon. And what they did was they literally like teleported past him at like Mach 5. And he's like, I don't know what to do here. What am I supposed to do? And I literally just told him, okay, well, he just moved past you. Just hold out your sword. Because they said that he wouldn't be able to react in time. So I was like, he's not going to react. He's just going to hold out a sword then. And he literally decapitated the guy, right? And Dylan was like, yeah, I did it. And I was like, okay, I gave you the idea though. But the main thing that happened was that all the groups this was like actually a big, because the Sheol were there too. The fucking Sheol were led by this. This Sheol were involved from like fucking DKA to war. They were, because Anguish, you don't remember? This was when Anguish basically wanted to bang Isno. Ever since the inception of the character, because I always used like androgynous bases for it. It was just a horn dog, right? But the Sheol were like a joke because they never fought, was kind of the point. But they had great edits and shit, and their groups were cool. So the Sheol were there, but they were also on our side. Again, same thing. The Sheol showed up after because they just came because I attacked, And they're like, oh, okay, we have an opportunity because we have a grudge to settle with these other groups too. And I was just like, no, this is me. I wanted to do this. You know?
It was me.
Yeah, so fucking the Divine Shinobis showed up, which is a Naruto group spinoff, and they just had Divine in their fucking name or whatever. And they posted, the Sheol posted, we posted. Obviously, we posted first, but the fight happened, and it was actually going very fucking good. Like, I remember this. It was going great. Everything was fine. You know, there were fights happening. People were losing on both sides. It was a good little roleplay experience. I got attacked by, I'm pretty sure, Oblivion and some other fucking, like, 2 Sephiroths tried to fight me. I remember that. And then this is the part where they had a meeting, an OOC meeting with all the leaders of the group. And all the leaders of the group
conveniently
left me out of it.
Conveniently.
They left me out of it, but they said that the Divine Shinobis were the ones that were leading the attack, even though we posted first and it was me attacking them, specifically me, specifically mad because they didn't include me, right? So they said, so they made
you bitching about me.
This was just annoying. So they had this little like OOC group meeting on like MSN or some shit. I don't know where it was. And they had the Divine Shinobi's Madara in there as the emissary from the attacking side who's the leader. And together, all these groups decided that they would have peace and there would be no war. And so they literally deleted all of the war threads almost immediately and announced their peace with the Divine Shinobis. And I was just like, that pissed me off so much. Dude, it was my attack. It was my war. And they literally booted me from my own war.
As you do.
That's just so fucking... Oh, my God. But the point is, that was like a major conflict. And pretty much all the groups in Roleplay decided that they fucking hated our guts. And they essentially cut us off completely, right?
Well, I mean, not complete. Like, we still had...
Yeah, we had a couple ones from, like, the Haldens, Hotsies, That's all I can think of. Because what happened was, this is kind of near the point where things started tipping off.
Yeah.
Okay, because we had one more war with DKA. And that one was exceedingly brief. It was very, very fast. And nothing got resolved from it. I'm pretty sure because everybody was wanting Anguish to fight. And it took him like 3 weeks to post. And he posted. And then remember that Anguish at the time knew how to hack MySpaces and stuff. He literally hacked the group and deleted it. And called that an attack. And we were like, that doesn't make sense. That's not an attack. All you did was hack this group and delete it. We didn't even get a chance to fight. But this is also near the end, I should say. At least for the run of the Akatsuki Dawn, it was definitely near the end. Because a lot of our defaults, or people that roleplayed those characters, just disappeared and they just never came back. It was first was Devi and Aurora. Both of them had Noctis characters too, and they just left. So we killed them off. And then Itachi disappeared. And then it pretty much got down to the point where it was you, me, Akis, and Dylan. And Connie. Fuck about her. Connie. Yeah, Connie did stick for a long time. Kind of weird. So I don't remember what happened, but it was just like I think everybody kind of grew up.
Well, during this time span, we had did try and stick around, fucking, because we focused more on.
I forgot.
Requiem.
Yeah, this was literally the part where the MySpace shut down.
Yeah.
That was the big thing that kind of
And this is where we kind of evolved just a bit.
Yeah, we made them into an actual like
Family.
Yeah, it was like we made their own genre, you know.
Right.
We made a universe. We gave them reasons for their abilities.
More of a space empire,
space horror empire type thing. It really evolved into being like something that's actually a concept for a story. Whereas initially it was literally just two brothers, Satan. Like that was the gist of it. But yeah, we had evolved that story a lot, and we were focusing on it a lot more than the Akatsuki group. And we also just didn't care about the Akatsuki group anymore because nobody would, after that last war, like pretty much nobody would accept a war with us anymore. Nobody would fight us, right? They would, if we posted there, they would just delete us. Yeah. So, or they had us banned or blocked already.
That, or we'd have to wait for them to show up, or it started becoming more about tournament.
Yeah, the tournament phase happened
because you can't really fucking avoid somebody in the tournament.
Yeah, that's true. And so third-party groups would make tournaments for characters to enter, and I think the funniest one was when you and me entered that duo tournament, and that one dude literally reached the temperature of the sun, and like
I remember I was just like, I'm gonna dig a hole.
Yeah,
I just made us a hole, and fucking, and we just looked up and.
I did the fucking the dunkel height or the darkness thing from below into the hole and just shot it up under him. But then like he exploded, and I like messaged the judge and I was like, hey, he just said he reached the temperature of the sun. I'm pretty sure we're all dead. In existence.
No, we avoided that.
No, the whole point is that the judge was like, oh, okay, yeah, your thing is not reaching that temperature, and then we killed him.
And then there was another fucking tournament where fucking one dude, I don't know if it was Brad or not, but fucking
was it the bullets that contained?
No,
that was definitely
that's
Brad.
Another story that I want to get to after this. But fucking, I remember this one dude posted his entire morning routine.
Oh yeah, that was so weird.
With timestamps.
That was I'm pretty sure that guy was a Halden or a Hotzi, one of the two.
Yeah, and
because I remember.
I woke up at 8 a.m.
Yeah, and he has like voices from the past talking to him and shit. And he's like, and there's like quotes from his story. It's like, why do you do the things you do? Because I am a king. And then he rolls out of bed and does like push-ups, and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Looks at himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Fucking gets dressed.
He like looks at himself and admires his sharp, angular features and bright green eyes and purple locks that flow down to it. And it was just like, it was literally like a self-suck. That's what it was. It was weird.
He described in full detail what he was wearing.
Yeah.
In full detail.
He described the texture of the fabric on his clothes. Oh, and that also reminds me of the ghost Tsuchikages. The dudes that literally this attack of theirs lasted literally like maybe one post. And it was because the guy that posted, remember how much he referenced grass? Because Kakazu fought him, and he referenced grass. He was being very condescending, saying that he outsmarted us and we'd never decode his... Because for like 20 paragraphs, he mentioned grass. And it was like this... It was so dumb, but that was just one of the random groups that came through. And Kakazu beat him, but it was just like... His first post was 20 paragraphs talking about grass, and he's like, you guys will never decode.
That became a running theme.
Until things started dying out, obviously. But
fucking... Okay, there's one dude, right?
Morning routine,
yeah. All the way up to fucking.
He wouldn't. I'm sure he didn't even show up.
No, no.
He didn't show up yet.
Oh yeah, he
didn't show up yet.
He fucking described the morning routine, and fucking like sent. I don't know if
sent like a text message.
A text message, and fucking just where to show up, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember.
And then...
Because I was just like, he's not
I
even
don't
there.
know
He's
if it
not there
was
yet.
for you or me.
I think it was for you.
I made a post literally. I'm waiting. I literally waited. That's all I did.
Looking at a watch, like
Fucking I basically wrote 3 fucking paragraphs of not even trying, just and I waited.
Yeah.
And I waited.
Yeah.
Waited.
Because people forget that, you know, it's your character reactions kind of depend on another person's.
Yeah.
And if you're not there, they can't look at your features that you're describing. So it's just useless.
And
you're not gonna.
I don't know if this was the same
weird.
fight or for you or like a different fight that you had, but I just remember this dude finally showing up on a motorcycle. And he didn't even fucking arrive.
Oh.
He was just he just described driving to the fucking location. Then he just stopped.
Yeah. No, I remember this.
And he just fucking he's like, maybe I'll snipe. I fucking got
I remember that.
I got ticked off and I was like, my character can sense metal and fucking knows exactly where you are. Just fucking throws a spear.
Therefore, I can find you since you're fucking. Where are you?
At some point, I was like, "Are you sure you're at the fucking location? Do you want to double check on your fucking GPS there, buddy?"
And it's right. So obviously, this is near the decline of. This is the decline of like actual fighting.
It definitely.
The groups and everybody just, I don't know what happened. I swear it was just like a mass depression of nobody wanting to fight anymore. But what essentially happened was we moved to our Requiem group, and we would just role play with each other in the Requiem group, and it was just us fighting zombies, monsters, or whatever.
Yeah, we tried to make like a whole zombie survival.
Yeah, there was like fucking 6 of us all role playing, and it was great. It was we were actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then the MySpace shut down. The MySpace completely shut down, and it forced everybody to move. And the hardest thing about it was that we lost all of the records of our group. We lost all that. All of our character sheets were in there. We lost all that. All of our profiles were bare because the profiles now don't have text on them. It's just music and shit. So we lost all of our photos too because the photos just.
We all migrated to roleplayer.me.
Everybody. Well, first we lost everything.
Right.
We were all sad, and then we migrated to roleplayer.me.
I remember there's a period of fucking popularity. Well, for you, I'm pretty. But we went there.
Yeah, people wanted to suck my dick.
And suddenly fucking everybody wanted to fucking associate them.
I think that's because we didn't really carry over the Akatsuki Dawn.
Yeah, we didn't.
We literally just carried over the Noctis.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why. I guess it really just do be ops, bro, honestly. But people started liking us a little more. And people would actually say, "Oh, well, they're assholes, but they're great at writing. They're great at fighting, whatever the fuck." And it was probably just because we did a few tournaments and we just didn't care was kind of the main thing, and we would just like drop out. I remember we dropped out of like we started a tournament, won one round, and then we're just like, "Okay, we're dropping out. You guys won." And then we just leave.
To be honest though, for me, it just I hit my fucking breaking point around that time where fucking like I would post something, I would post something, I'd fucking try posting a reply, and it would immediately fucking just devolve
into arguing.
And it just fucking clicked with me that
it's pointless.
Yeah, it was pointless. Like it wasn't fun. I wasn't having fucking fun writing. Like literally, these people fucking sapped the fucking joy of writing out. It became a chore.
Yeah,
because I would fucking write like all this bullshit, and all it would just be is just, hey, I'd rather fucking argue.
Yeah, it
and it became annoying because it's just like it turned into fucking me having to fucking explain common sense to people. And I started writing more about fucking, science,
Mm-hmm.
math, fucking explaining fucking common shit to fucking these people. And I got sick of it.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, I'm not fucking roleplay fighting
Yeah.
anymore.
At this point, you're having a scientific discussion.
Yeah,
And it's not fun because you're having a scientific discussion while revolving around impossible circumstances.
yeah,
It's like who gives a fuck at what temperature your fire is, exact temperature, right? It's so much easier to just say it's hot and then just have somebody. The point is, when you're roleplay fighting with somebody, there needs to be a mutual respect.
right.
And there needs to be like a willingness to take a hit every now and then, which most people in the roleplay community will not do. They will teleport behind you, haha, foolish, casual deflect. They'll just it's essentially the male ego, right? This is my theory was that the reason why most women, at least that we ever role played with, were so decent at fighting, like it was interesting to watch them fight, was because they didn't have like an ego when they went into it. Except for like one, who we later found out was a guy. So
Yeah.
I think that's a win. But the point is, like, I always reference the fight Connie had with somebody. It was Razzle. She fought Razzle, and he was that stupid overpowered character from Noblesse, and she was severely underpowered. And it was an interesting fight because she traded shots, and he was actually willing to let her hit him from time to time. Whereas when he fought me, it was pure ego. He would not let anything come close to him. There would be no close calls. He wouldn't duck, dive, dip, or dodge. He would just deflect casually or haha, that's useless, you know? It was just all fights became that. All fights became that except for like one, and one fight out of 50 bad ones is not going to make you want to keep writing.
Oh yeah, no,
It just won't.
I had one.
And I noticed every time that you tried to fight someone, it would always end up in an argument.
Yeah,
And
because I fought. There's one fight I remember where fucking like shut up, and this dude fucking has like teleportation powers and guns and shit, and fucking teleported to me and tried like slashing. I was like, well, I have superhuman senses, so if you're gonna fucking teleport in front of me, I'm going to dodge. I'll just fucking swing back, and it fucking turned into a fucking T1 discussion.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? All right.
lose a fight.
Mhm.
No. No, yeah, that's kind of like that first time that. Well, I'm recalled of two instances. Right, the first is Halden, Jesse Halden, who's the guy that said that, and Vox later on. Right, I've had three people in my entire career of role playing claim they killed me, and the basis for all three were fucking confusing as shit. Right, so you had Jesse Halden, whose ability, right, this is something that all Haldens had because they were these angelic creatures or whatever. They had this wave of energy that instantly evaporated anything from existence if it had sinned. And I was like, okay, that seems kind of like a mod, first of all. But second of all, what if I don't believe in sins?
Yeah.
What if I don't know the difference between right and wrong? Because Isno, as a base character, just can't tell the difference. There's no discrimination or anything. He's just
Well,
along for the ride.
You get into this fucking
Yeah, you get into an argument about semantics, religion. How does your ability affect people that don't believe this, that, and this? And my whole point was, this just doesn't make sense because if it was just a wave that evaporated everything, okay, then that's fine. But you're saying it has a specific cause. How am I supposed to react to that if it doesn't apply to me? You know what I mean? So it essentially became, if I ignore it, I'm insta dead. But if I don't ignore it, then I admit that I'm sinned. But Isno doesn't have an understanding of that, so it just became a very weird argument. And the point is, he claims to have killed me. And then there was Faye, who fought me as Pain, and I killed him, but he reincarnated through his knife.
I just
You
kind of remember that.
Yeah, I killed him. I cut him in half, and he reincarnated through a knife, and then said because I killed him, I was dead. And it was the most confusing, like, haha, like.
To be fair, around that time, it really felt like everybody was like trying to be clever.
Oh, they were trying to word things in a way that
yeah,
was.
it became this whole fucking thing of like people deliberately being
Misleading.
as confusing and misleading as possible, and sometimes just outright fucking hiding
lying
information.
Yeah, they would like fucking literally white it out at the end of their post and then be like, oh, just go back and highlight it. Okay, well, you could edit that afterwards. You could just put that in there, you know? It was very weird, but people did do that. They would write misleading stuff. I know because
or some people would just be like super fucking
prosy.
Yeah,
when
prosy,
the way they wrote
fluttery,
stuff.
just like poems and shit.
Yeah. It became you'd have to like decode the fucking post.
It stopped being a fucking like actual thing where you try and use your intelligence to just.
It was seeing if you could make somebody not read something. Yeah.
At that point, it was literally just like, how do I make this as fucking
miserable as possible for everyone?
And fucking miserable and fucking just to try and fucking make it as a slog to get through. So,
yes, exactly.
So they just fucking skim past the important shit to get to the end.
Essentially, what would happen is you would skim through this post and say they're arriving to wherever the fuck they're arriving to, and somewhere in like their second paragraph, they would say something like, he walked though he left no foot impression, right? Something vague like that, or like his eyes had a glossy look behind them, as if there were no soul. They would strongly imply that they were not there,
right?
That it was a clone, that it was an illusion, and the second you acknowledge the illusion, you're in the illusion, right? It was basically the way that it worked. But people started doing that almost at every point in their post, right? It wasn't like just illusions, right? With illusions, it might have made sense because, you know.
And it's also, I don't know what the fucking term for it is, but it's
epic. That's what it was. Epic writing. It was epic.
But fucking, I don't know what the exact term for it is, but it's like, if you beat them, it wasn't them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's
substitution.
Actually, or if you fucking, or if they beat you, I was actually them all along.
Yeah. That became a very common.
And it just became this mindset of like, if you don't, it's almost like this weird fucking poker rule of like, you know, like, it's not cheating unless you catch me cheating.
Oh, you know yeah. I mean? No, I agree. It just, I remember I made a point to prove that there's nothing intelligent behind that, and that it's just the cheapest way to win a fight by lying to the person reading it, because at that point you're meta information, right?
I don't know if it was you or another Sasuke who fucking like hid super important details.
Yeah, no, I did that.
Yeah.
You
just make little fucking poems in between your paragraphs.
Yeah. I did that. I did that to partially to be a dick, but I also did it again later. I remember I did that one to Oblivion too, because that's how I like tricked him with the one post, because they were notorious for doing the same fucking thing where they would hide shit in the post. So I literally hid everything. Yeah. Like essentially all that you knew from my post was that someone was there. And I did that with Pain, and then I would do it with later on with Isno when he got, this is a little bit after things started to die down in the Kisuke family. Remember them? Yeah, the Kisuke family came through, and they were attacking somebody, and somebody was like, it was probably DKA, honestly, and they're like, hey, can you go fight this guy? Because it was this dude named Obito, and not related to the actual Naruto character. He was just named Obito Kisuke, and They're like, oh, go fight this guy. So I was just like, I was bored, and I literally fought him. But I made a point because everybody told me that Obito Kisuke cheats by like hiding details and whiting out stuff in his posts and stuff like that. So I literally did the same thing, but like way too in depth, and I kept doing it. And then at the very end, I like let him think he killed me, and then at the end I referenced my first post and I was like, "It was a fucking fake all along, you dipshit." And then I killed him, and he was super mad about it. But even all of his friends were like, "Hey, man, he he did the thing, you know, he did the same thing you did." But yeah, I don't know why it became that way. It was like the natural progression, I think, as everybody started to get a little too big for their own shoes. They just started to really care if they lost a fight or if they took damage or if
I mean, they always
anything.
cared, but it's more like
It's more like the character. All right, so you have an OC, right?
right.
It's different than the canon character, right? Because the canon character is not you. You might bring a little bit of yourself in there, like when you're interacting or whatever, or if you decide to have this person bang this person, that's probably just you, right? Those characters probably wouldn't do it. But with the OC, you can say, "Oh, this is just role play. This isn't me." The OC is you. This is you're bringing everything to this. This is all from you. If you have sado masochistic tendencies, it's gonna show in your fucking character. It's just the way it is, you know. You might pretend you're nice, and then randomly in your post, you'll totally go out of character because it's just you, right? So my point is that at some point, people just stopped role playing and started just wishing they were a part of this fantasy life. Like they thought that those characters were themselves, essentially. And at that point, it becomes ego, right? So, the long, winding road came to an end, right?
Right. To be fair, I got off that road long before you did, because
I stuck around for a bit, but this was also the period right around the time it died. I remember because I posted a message to our Akatsuki group that we had remade on Annie Roleplay, because this was right around the time when I was joining the army. This was after me and him had lived together, and it fell through, and everything kind of went shitty, and I was homeless basically. I needed to join the army. You went home. I essentially posted in the group. It's been great knowing you all, but the group had been quiet for like weeks, which was like super sad, right? Because I was like 18, and it was just quiet. Nobody posted. There was no wars going on. Nobody was fighting.
It's very stagnant.
Yeah, everything had stopped, and it was just super depressing. And you couldn't find the same thing that we had before anywhere. So I posted basically saying goodbye to everybody, that I wasn't going to be posting on that particular profile anymore, and I didn't. The Akatsuki group eventually got deleted because there's a rule with any roleplay where they'll delete it after 6 months of inactivity from the main person.
Yeah.
And that was me, and I was gone. So we essentially didn't talk for like 4 years. Almost that.
Oh, we saw some.
No, I think I couldn't find you. Specifically, I couldn't find you.
I feel like we had pockets of.
I think I tried to contact you, but I couldn't find you was my point. Because MSN or whatever had converted to Skype, and you needed their Skype to find people, and I couldn't find you. And we, no longer played online together anymore. Nothing like. Although I did see you pop on from time to time. So everything kind of billowed out and died, right? I came back to roleplay for like maybe a couple months to see if anything had changed. By that point, pretty much everything was still the same, except for like major groups had disappeared. The Advents were pretty much nowhere to be found. Divine Shinobi's gone off the face of the earth. Hotsea's recently disappeared. Alden gone. Pretty much everybody was gone. And all the original people that we like used to talk with and all the time scarcely had interactions. All that happened afterwards was I posted in maybe 1 or 2 tournaments. One tournament where I killed Shinri and he accepted it. Win. Another one where I killed Hellhound and they accepted it. Win. And that was it. The group of friends that we used to talk to, pretty much gone. Connie did stick around for a bit. She was still pretty active on the role playing thing and all that, but she also, contrary to us, became super successful. And like, Connie was always just this person that would like tell you.
Oh shit, she was like the most level-headed.
She would always
and mature.
Yeah, she would say that shit, but she would also like really talk you up, and she would always say like, I know you're destined for more than this. Really cringy shit like that. That at the time seemed annoying, but the older you get, the more you're like, damn, man. Really wish you. I wish
really let that one down.
Yeah, I really fucked that up. No, but she was just this fucking awesome person that we used to always talk to, and
Oh, yeah.
she always still really liked you.
I don't know why.
Probably because you were fucking edgy as shit. She thought you were like psycho.
Well, I mean, no, I was barely interacted.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't really.
I thought you guys talked a lot. That's why I thought she fucking always brought you up. But anyway,
like every now and then.
Well, yeah. So most of our friend group from that has
moved on.
Moved on in the sense that we no longer talk at all,
right,
which is kind of sad.
And to be fair, like started out while we were young, continued while we were young and immature. Fucking just along the way, you fucking start growing up and fucking like.
That's the worst part is the growing up thing. Because when you were younger, you had all this free time to write and do all this shit, and then when you get older, it's just kind of fucked.
Sucks because like again, we're young and I had like a passion for writing and like, honestly, I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. But at the same time, I regret those moments because I 100% lost my.
I think they were intertwined. I think your passion for writing came from roleplay, and the roleplay that you had that was good made you want to keep writing, and the roleplay you had that was bad made you fucking hate it.
And it was a majority.
It was the majority of the bad.
Like
so
95%.
It was the source of your inspiration, but also like your fucking downfall.
To be fair, I regret a lot of choices, but again, it's young, immature.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand who I was.
Yeah, it was a lot about finding yourself, which I thought was great because just when I was writing those variety of characters, you kind of see who you are in the fucking writing. It's very obvious if you feel a certain way about something and you're writing it, you can't quite put your head into it because you just don't care. But out of that, I definitely learned that my only talent in life is writing. And that's the only thing I've ever been exceptionally good at is that, and it's because of that. All those experience I had, all the fucking dumb shit we did in those groups, just like the hours of waiting for some fucker to make a post, literally constantly just refreshing it, waiting for them to post so that you could write a counter to it. It was a lot of fun.
To be fair, it's also like something that you would have to do when you're young, or at the very least, fucking.
Yeah, now that you're older, it's kind of weird.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Also, like,
but that's also weird to consider that while we were role playing and we were like 17 and 18, there were people that were role playing that were like 40, and it was just absurd. I remember saying
it'd be different.
I remember saying at one point I was like, if I'm still doing this shit when I'm 30, fucking shoot me, because I'm fucking just. I should have written a book by now or fucking done something with this. Otherwise, I've spent all these years refining this talent for writing that I'm not using for anything. And I still think that's kind of. But the good news that came out of his Requiem, right? And that's like a great story concept that I at least plan to capitalize on at some point for a lot of stuff. Yeah. And for the sake of giggles and shits, I'll fucking throw in all of our old characters in there. I might change the name. The names were kind of cringe. But like in my heart, I'll know. In the preface, a little thank you page. We'll be like to all the haters of Akatsuki. Go fuck yourself. The Shinra shit.
Love the Shinra ship.
But yeah, that's essentially the story of the rise and fall of roleplay.
It was we had Breakfast Club theme.
Yeah, it was just really sad. I guess it's sad to think back on it, because now I couldn't give a shit less. But back at the time, I was super passionate about it. I cared. I also didn't care, which is part of excelling at it. I didn't care what people thought of me.
Yeah.
It was
well, I mean, that's the benefit of being young, and also, again, back then,
you
were just anonymous. Like, nobody knew who you really were. Fucking.
Yeah, you could pretend to be 9 different people, and dipshits would buy it.
You could just be yourself. You could be somebody else. You could be somebody you wish you were.
Yeah. I mean, I still think role playing is good for learning how to write and character building and all this shit. But nowadays, it's just kind of become a weird thing for like furries or.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a furry.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
But the point is that nowadays it's definitely
it's more difficult to get into, I guess, because it's either gatekeeped or there's just not enough people doing it.
I literally have not touched that community and
no, you don't want to.
Ever since I stepped out.
It only gets an influx when there's like when Dragon or Demon Slayer came out.
Or My Hero Academia.
Yeah, influx of all those characters, and then the thing about it is they make the posts, they make the profiles, and then they just never roleplay. Most people only do it specifically for smut writing. That's all that they want to do. Which is, like I said in the beginning, if you're not fighting, you're fucking, and that's the only point of roleplay. Yeah, that's what that was my creed for so long, that I don't want to interact with you unless we're fighting, because obviously the only things we can do is fight or fuck, and it's not fun.
Really limiting yourself there.
Name me one. Never mind. but yeah, I'd say that's that pretty much concludes the start to finish of our history of roleplay. Now the pages are probably gone. They might be on the Wayback Time Machine. I might try and find some of the stuff and throw it in there, but I honestly don't know what I'll be able to salvage.
It's just a bittersweet memory now.
Yeah, I almost feel like I wasted my time, because all that time that I spent socializing online for all of my online friends to just drift apart at the end, except for you, right? Out of all, I had like 10, 12 online friends, and only one has kind of stuck around, whereas like I totally cut myself off socially.
Goddamn parasite.
Yeah, like socially, right? Well, growing up, I didn't interact with people because I always thought my online friends would be there all the time. It was like the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, again, kids, I fucking remember you still fucking had that fucking, you always talk about that magical house that everybody would live in.
Oh, damn, dude. Why'd you have to say that? That made me sad. I remember I was also going to make the rings.
Oh,
yeah, the thing is, I don't know where everybody is now, so I don't know where I would send them, but I still have the Is it here? Hold on, I think it is actually. It's pure silver, and I was gonna make all the rings. I was gonna make the 10 Akatsuki rings and give them to everybody, and we were all gonna live in the same house. That was the plan. And we started that plan when you moved with me, and then we fucking realized we had no idea how the real world worked.
Oh god,
no fucking idea. Now it's more feasible, but at this point we're all strangers, and there's no point in me pretending that I'll like have anything in common with like Connie, who owns a house and has a kid, right? Or fucking Akis, who amateur rap career lives in California. Or Dylan, fucking manager at a vape shop, fucking in Michigan or some shit. Like those are the only ones that I even know where they're at. Everybody else, I don't know where they are. I don't know who they are, because it was anonymous, right? We We didn't know who we were.
Yeah, fucking everybody's living their lives now. Fucking.
That's just sad to think that. Think about this, right? When we were in that group, everybody thought you and me were gonna be like the most successful people. And no, they definitely did, because they thought we were like the OGs. And what turned out was we were the least successful people. We were just the best at right fighting. That was it. And
in retrospect, not exactly a useful social skill.
True. But I am kind of happy that we. No, I'm kind of happy that we, for what it's worth, Akatsuki Dawn definitely made a fucking dent for itself in the roleplay atmosphere, at least around MySpace and those other ones. Everybody knew who we were.
Who knows? Maybe someday in the future, there's going to be another Akatsuki Dawn-ish group. Obviously not us.
No, maybe you'll find a group of friends, and it'll mean something to you. The only thing I could say is, don't let petty, immature differences get in the way of keeping in contact with people. Because I was definitely one of those people that was like, if you do me wrong, I'm going to cut you out of my life. You said my name wrong, go fuck yourself. We're never talking
You made a typo, go fuck yourself.
Pretty much, you're dog shit. And that's the only thing I really regret, is that I cut out a lot of people for no reason. But I also, I had a lot of good experiences. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of a headache, but part of the headache was the fun, Like, a lot of the fun was us in group chat talking about how stupid those people were when they were trying to do mathematics and shit.
Unites people
more than common
mutual hatred.
Yep. But it was fun. I would never roleplay again.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fun.
If anything, I'd go back in time and fucking punch young me.
I would prefer to fight everybody physically in real life. Have a tournament, but it's me versus them in real life.
Jay and Silent Bob, fucking
yeah. Jay and Silent Bob.
Print out a long fucking sheet and go door to door.
Was your name Lance Altian, and did you kick me out of the war? Just beat the fuck, and then I get arrested for multiple assault. Oh, that'd be terrible. But the point is, we gotta wrap this thing up eventually. The point is, it was fun, and this is how we met. This is how we became friends. This is how I became good at writing, and realized I love stories and shit like that. And this is also around the time the Ruby characters came through, and they were fucking shit, dude. These guys sucked at writing so bad. Oh my god.
Gotta tie it right back to Ruby, baby. Gotta be able to put on that Ruby tag.
Algorithm, hey. No, but yeah, it was, I really do think everything started to die when Naruto ended. When the manga full ended, and there was just no more purpose.
To be honest, there's no purpose for Boruto's dad. There's only Boruto.
All right, we're not making those kind of jokes. I don't know. Do you have anything to say?
Not really. Fucking a lot of things I regret. Wish I was more mature and fucking just knew even an inkling of how things turn out. But
would you change it?
If I could change it, I think there are some things I would.
Dude, butterfly effect. You change anything, it changes everything.
Exactly. But
motherfucker, cut that out, me. Edit it out.
But if there's one thing I could keep, meeting you.
Aw, that's sweet. But we wouldn't have been as tight if you changed anything.
Very tight.
Not as tight.
Both. Fucking, tight. Could you just imagine fucking alternate future where things did change, but we still met each other?
We're both full heads of hair buff and
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, we're just
both of us long flowing locks,
yes, oh my
fucking
God.
Shirtless, muscled up, reading Reading books.
Dante's Inferno.
A bunch of PhDs in the background.
And casually Beethoven symphony playing.
Exactly.
Yes. But that's not realistic. What is realistic is the sad series of events that followed our incredibly monotonous and boring life.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I suppose that would wrap up the first episode.
Also,
This is like the 4th episode, isn't it?
I have no
Of the
idea.
Requiem podcast. I didn't even keep track.
Also-
Episode 1, baby.
Also, if you're from the fucking past, you stay in the past.
That's his way of saying if you recognize the characters Kisame from Akatsuki
Shut the
Dan
fuck up.
or
Shut
Content
the fuck
Dekeki
up.
of Noctis, please
No.
PM him
Cut that
at
out.
content
Fucking
underscore.
Edit that out. For real. I'm being 100% serious.
I'm not editing it out.
Edit it out.
No.
Edit it out.
No.
Edit this whole fucking section out.
We're not editing it out.
Edit it out.
All right. Now, here's what we're going to do. Ready? We're going to say thanks for watching the Dead Mom podcast.
God damn it.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you for beating a dead horse.
Off. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching. If you watched, I highly doubt you did because it's probably going to be around 3 hours and 30 minutes long.
Just two dudes.
Just two guys.
talking
Just
about-
two dudes. Just two
two regular dudes.
Two. You said the thing. Fuck yeah.